These two colors, or these two Yoshis, are not the same color.
To be fair though, especially on stream right now, it looks almost like the same color.
No.
It really does.
If you or anybody close to you thinks these are the same color, and just like Tifa, they might be slightly colorblind. Because these are not the same color.
They look like it.
You made them. You should know this.
Yeah, if you're holding them like this, it doesn't. But like when I looked at it on stream, or in like a dark room, it definitely looks like the same.
In other news, Tifa made adorable Yoshi Christmas tree ornaments. They are not the same. No, they are not. Tifa hates a lot of things like some colors. Fun, at least half the things Jack loves: tomatoes, hedgehog, sushi, every single member of X-Men Soup, all rap music, Dr. Dre, Skinner, Magneto's outfit, pina coladas, Dr. Pepper. And more to come as we learn them. Yes.
Seems about right.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
First of all, Benjima, Sabba Wappa Dub Dub. Thank you very much, Wap.
Love.
Love.
And please enjoy your dinner if you can still hear this. Thank you for the lurk.
And enjoy your meal. Gaming Check, congratulations on being second. Psycho, congratulations on being first. In that order, we are back. It is Sunday, and those almost look like the same colors. I stick to what I said.
As I drink coffee that I realized I hadn't finished this morning.
Cold coffee. Great.
It did not get better. It's alright. It's cold coffee.
Throw it away.
No, I am a very lazy person, and as is evident right now, sometimes I make coffee or Tifa makes coffee for me, and then I drink some of it and then I forget that I have it because I go to a different room and I didn't take the cup with me. And then later on I realize I still have coffee, and then I still have coffee later, but I didn't warm it up and I'm so lazy. I just learned to enjoy drinking cold coffee. You know?
Jack ruining his vacation with food poisoning.
Oh.
It's cold enough in here that it will stay fine.
It's funny you mentioned that, Psycho, because we had mentioned that on Friday, but yesterday we met with my family to have Tifa's birthday dinner.
Yeah.
Because we were out all day on Thursday, so now we celebrated with my side of the family. If you've been around for a while, you might remember that I've told this story before, that my dad is a very selfish person and has a habit of showing up to these things sick. Guess who was still sick? But fine enough to go have dinner with us. To be fair, he has asthma and he has like a coughing thing. He has had that for years. I don't think he ever did anything about that. He just, he has an inhaler if it gets too bad, but
I do think it was that though, if it helps.
So now he told us all, yeah, it's just a dry cough, don't worry, I don't have any symptoms left. I've been uploading my vitamins since yesterday, or increasing my vitamins since yesterday. Drinking ginger tea just in case. So if anybody ruins my vacation, it's gonna be my dad. But if that were to happen, I would go to the doctor, I would get sick leave, because this is something that that at least happens in Germany. I don't know about other countries. But if you get sick during your vacation from work, you get your vacation days back, because your vacation does not exist for you to recover from sickness.
Would you actually do it this time? Because we usually just leave it if someone is sick during the vacation.
I haven't done it in the past,
honestly.
But it's a stupid thing not to do, because your vacation is there for you to enjoy, not for you to deal with you having caught whatever. So no.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
Also, Gaming Check having the last dancing ball yesterday of the year, I take it, or the season. Is it a season?
Technically both yesterday and today. Did you dance into the new day?
Romantic, isn't it?
Also, when did you start dancing? Because depending on the answer to that question, this is more impressive or even more impressive. Because if you start dancing at like 6 in the evening and you dance into the next day, that's over 6 hours.
Yeah, fair.
If you start at 1 minute to midnight Still nice, but you've danced for a minute and a half, something like that.
I hope I never have to do this, even if it makes sense. Yeah, same because it still sucks if you were like looking forward to your vacation, or you had, even worse, you were planning on traveling, or you are traveling, and then you get sick, and then it's like, meh. Jack used to have a habit of being sick every single time we went to the Netherlands on a vacation.
Not on purpose, not by choice. Also not just when we went to the Netherlands.
I didn't say that, did I?
No, but you gave it that energy, like he went out of his way to ruin our vacations. That's how much of a dick
you just had, especially back then, you used to have the habit that the moment work.
She keeps saying, I had the habit. A habit implies it's something you actively do.
Your body had the habit
to
become sick every time we had a vacation.
Yes.
Which is also, I want to say, logical in a way, especially during a time where you've had a lot of stress. And you're on full tension, and then the moment you can relax. That's why I feel like you sometimes feel like not sick during the week, but you feel shitty in the weekend.
If I hate sick people.
Because then you can relax.
I actually do.
And then your body comes like, oh, now it's my turn.
Yeah. Oh, you're resting? Well, about that. How about you enjoy this cold that I've been fighting off for you for the last couple of days, where you were so stressed that you didn't have any time to be sick. But now you have the time, so bam, now deal with your sinusitis. That was my body for years. Yes, and then
it's gotten better.
Thankfully, in a way, I realized that I can take vitamin supplements, and that helps me. I don't rely on them. I just take some of that stuff to top myself up, and that helps me. Also, I started wearing a mask in public transport ever since the pandemic. That has really changed. That's one thing that's changed about how I go out and stuff. And ever since then, it's mostly been working. Until, of course, I go somewhere and somebody keeps coughing in my face.
Yeah, I've got to say Jack has been semi-annoying ever since the pandemic.
Yes, you are correct.
You went from slightly germophobic to complete germophobic, on a whole different scale.
Tifa, you say that because you've never dealt with an actual germaphobe. Somebody who disinfects every surface after every interaction. I don't do that. No.
You're saying you do not disinfect your hands and your phone several times a day?
Yes, when I've been outside and I touched other things that I don't necessarily want inside the house. Of your apartment. Yes. Do you not wash your hands after you went to the bathroom?
Including when you've touched items like a milk carton. Even though you haven't done that in a while, fortunately.
That I did during the pandemic because I really did not want to catch COVID. Yes, and I haven't done that since.
Yeah, sure, that has been a while.
Also,
but still, whenever we go in public transport, it's like this military zone where I'm watching everyone
yes,
who's sick? He's sick. We go that way.
Yes.
We stand in that corner. Oh, he's sick too. Now we go into that corner.
Why would I choose to sit next to a person coughing at me?
Because overdoing it is worse for your immune system. Which I keep telling him, by the way. But
yes. However, when I sit next to the person coughing, it kills my immune system. So I can choose, either I atrophy it or I take the L anyway. That's at least how the lottery seems to be going so far for me. You do have a point. You are not wrong with that. I would like my immune system to be able to have a chance to begin with. It's not great, I can tell you that from experience. I mean, other people have it way worse. They go outside once and then they come back with a cold. It's not that bad, but if somebody in the bus coughs and sneezes twice, probably in the next few days I will have something. And I don't need that. I'm never wrong. No, you aren't. Except when you are. But that's never. Yeah.
At some point, Jack's gonna socially distance on stream with a full bodysuit with its own ventilation and filter system. Or if he could take that outside at least, he would absolutely would, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I would, in a cyberpunk setting, I would be the weirdo among the weirdos that wears a full astronaut helmet the entire day. I don't need it. No. Mm-mm.
Seems about right, yeah.
I'm perfectly fine without that. And the worst thing is, and I know that's 100% between my ears, I'm a person that if I think I'm sick, I will be sick. My body, well, my soul is stupid like that. It's not an active thought. I don't sit there like, I'm getting sick, I'm getting sick. It just happens. I don't control that. So I get in a bus or a train and there are people coughing. Now it's winter currently. Temperatures are somewhere just above freezing to just freezing, so it's cold, it's damp, it's wet, and the heating is on everywhere. And if you've ever experienced this yourself, congratulations, you've had the thing where you walk around and suddenly your throat is a bit raspy. Or you wake up and your throat feels kind of funny, because you had the heating on and the air got dry. Or you go outside and then your nose starts running because it's cold and it's windy. And then you sit in public transport and everybody is coughing and sniveling. Now I don't know if it's just because of the different temperatures or because of the differences in air quality. But also, I don't care. I just don't. I just put my mask on and stand in a corner and hope it's over soon.
There's not enough space in our public transport, so I just have to stand either next to the driver or next to the door. Yeah, during rush hour it sucks.
Gaming check, I'm so bad. If it's a distance I can feasibly walk and I don't have like an appointment or something to get to, I will walk instead of taking the bus or the train, man. If it's that bad. I'm getting out. If too many people in the bus are coughing, I'll walk the rest of the way. I do not care. Yeah. I walk each day home. See? Congratulations. Here, join the club. I sometimes do the same thing. But I haven't really gotten sick.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Also, I missed it earlier, but it was the last ball of the course for Gaming Check. No more dancing for me for at least a year. Why a year? No idea if I join
another course at some point later on. Did you enjoy it? And if so, did you enjoy? I guess you didn't enjoy it enough to immediately continue, am I right? I guess that's...
I don't think that necessarily has to do with enjoying. It can also be a time thing, school thing, study thing.
True. Yeah, but
like it's time intensive.
I mean, I would think. Could have been better. Yeah, see? Because...
Fair enough.
Tell me if you agree with me. If you did it and you absolutely fell in love with it, and then you realize, I don't really have the time, you would probably sooner drop the other things. Because I just love this so much. Like, I enjoy streaming so much, I don't do other things in the same time that I would have been doing. Like going for a walk with Tifa on a Thursday evening to score some shopping deals. I just do that in the weekend now.
Which I now have to do before. Or in the weekend, when I could be playing video games.
You're playing video games in a moment? This one, she hates me having fun. Too much stuff going on. Fair enough.
It's fine to take a break. You can always pick it up again.
Exactly.
Oh, talking about picking it up. Last night was such a shitty night, and it all started
at 2:16 a.m.
At 2:16 a.m. Exactly. When both of us woke up, and I was immediately like wide awake, and it's like, did the doorbell just ring?
Yes, it did.
Someone was ringing our doorbell at 2:16 in the morning.
Whoever you are, if you can hear this, if you listen to this at some point, you're an asshole.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why anyone would need to ring our doorbell at that time. But then I was like, okay, should I go...
Sorry. If it was actually you, I would ban you right now.
Should I actually go?
That was the guy from fucking Telecom again.
Trying to sell us glass facial.
We've been trying to get in touch with you about your insurance. We've been trying throughout the day, but you never pick up or open the door, so we were trying now, if it's okay with you.
And I was like, should I go open? I mean, there has to be a reason why someone rings the bell at 2 a.m.
You don't just randomly ring somebody's door at 2:16 in the morning.
So then we decided against it. When turned around.
Tifa was like, did you order anything? I'm like, Tifa, click, I open my phone, I'm like, it's 2:15 in the morning.
I thought it was like maybe 9 or 10 a.m. and maybe we slept in. I didn't know it was 2 a.m.
Fair. So I'm like, no, I did not order anything, and if it's for the neighbors, sorry neighbors, I don't give a flying fuck right now. And then I thought, wait, it's 2:16 a.m. Why would anybody deliver anything now? But then I was laying there like, okay, so it's 2:15 in the morning. And I don't know about all of the places you live, but for some reason, in our apartment, there's 2 doorbells. 2 different sounds being played. One, if somebody is at the house door trying to get into the apartment building, that's one sound. And if somebody rings your doorbell at your apartment, that's a different sound. And as I was laying there thinking, I realized...
I don't recall which one it was.
It was our door. And then I was laying there thinking, okay, so feasibly, why would somebody ring the door at 2 in the morning? I forgot my keys. But then, how did you get into the building? Because you rang at our door. You physically have to be at our door to create that sound.
It could have still been your keys, because Jack also had a nasty habit for a while that whenever he came from outside into the apartment, he would leave his house keys
when he came home.
Hanging in the door outside, and he wouldn't take it out and take it back into the apartment. True. So a couple of times we've had our keys hanging in our door.
We've talked about this before. Yes, it's a stupid thing. I've done that. Now I always make sure that I have them.
So at first we turned around and we're going to ignore it, and then Jack was like, I was the last one to come in. Like, could it be the keys hanging outside the door? And I was like, no, it couldn't be. I
turned on the flashlight on my phone. I put my socks on, like the really soft ones, and I Skyrim sneak through the apartment to the door.
At least 10 minutes later, though.
I could hear footsteps outside. So I'm sneaking to the door, no sounds. Okay, so I sneak back to bed. I'm like, crap, now I gotta pee. So I went to the toilet.
There was no key in the door.
So, no, my keys were inside. I found them. So it can't have been my keys. So I go to the toilet, I come back to bed, I lay down again, and then Tifa's like, now I'm wide awake. We should check. We should open the door. What if something happened?
Why else would they ring the bell at 2 a.m.?
I'm like, fine, stay here. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh my god, it's not... The most logical reason would be I once again forgot my keys outside. That would be really stupid.
I got up with you, by the way.
Yeah, but you stayed behind. Like in a horror movie, it's like, no, stay behind me. That kind of deal. So as I slowly approach our door again, I'm going through things in my head like, what's gonna happen when I open the door? Because it's 2:15 in the morning. Somebody is inside the building ringing my door. It can't be my keys. Is it gonna be a drunk person? What do I do? Is it gonna be somebody who tries to rob us? What am I gonna do about that? I don't know how to defend myself. I'm the kind of person, I run away. And if I'm in my apartment and you come inside, where do I go? It's not like I can escape. And there's Tifa behind me too.
It's kind of funny because that's exactly what kept me awake. Jack opened the door, there was no one there. We went back to bed.
I didn't even turn on the lights in the apartment. I feel like this is important too. So I'm still Skyrim stealth archer sneaking around with a flashlight on my phone, trying to keep it away from the windows and stuff in case somebody's peeking inside, just trying to be as stealthy as possible in this body. When I go to the door, I gently open it, I listen, I pull it open, it's dark outside, there's nobody there. I slowly close the door again and I lock it. It was unlocked, it had been unlocked.
We always have it unlocked.
No, we don't.
No, of course it's not.
Not anymore. Can tell you that much.
So we went back to bed, and from there on I woke up every single hour. Feel like I dreamt of a different scenario every single time where the doorbell went. I went to open, I got stabbed, I got murdered, I got kidnapped, I had a neighbor who locked himself out. I had a kid sleep on the couch because he forgot his keys.
Stop trying to buy other people's kids.
Trying to buy other people's kids. But every hour, it felt like this Higurashi moment. There was a new scenario, or like Slay the Princess, on what happened after opening the door. It was annoying as fuck. And why would someone ring the bell? And now I'm curious, because what was it?
Now
What do you want at 2 a.m.?
This morning, we have breakfast, and then we're like, let's go for a walk, because otherwise we don't really go outside today. So we do that, and like, we open the door, we check again. Is there a message anywhere? Did somebody leave a note? We check the mailbox. Did somebody put a message in there? Nothing. Nothing. For all I know, there was a shared brain cell group hysteria moment, and we both just imagined the doorbell ringing at 2:16 freaking a.m.
I'm guessing one of the neighbors just got a little bit drunk and rang the wrong doorbell or something, because when we went outside, there was also surprisingly a beer bottle in front of the door, which was empty.
Has never happened here before. We've said this before. We're
it's
like
unusual.
The two youngest people in the entire apartment complex, I want to say. The majority of people are older than us.
We've had several new people move in.
Okay,
we're no longer the...
But still, the majority is old people.
That, yes.
And like, the kind of old people that like stand on the back like, the kids are playing too loud! You know, they wouldn't let you put it on a beer bottle in front of a building. They're like, put that trash away, youngin'!
You're in a floorway at 2 a.m. and the doorbell rings. Your mission is to not open the door. If you open it, it will be the end of the world. Well, good thing we saved the world.
I open the door. Everything goes dark, and then you die. Yes. So you avoided starring in law-abiding citizens. Yes, we actually did, I think.
So yeah.
I hope that at some point one of our neighbors goes like, hey, did I wake you up the other day? Sorry.
Why would you still do that at this point?
Because it's the right thing to do.
We didn't open, so technically there was no one at home.
I would still do it because I would imagine that the people in there were like, who the fuck rings my doorbell at 2:16 a.m. so I didn't open it?
So yeah, interesting night. Well, interesting. Just the doorbell went, but still. Annoying. That's the better word. We just made a whole drama out of it.
You know what else is annoying? Higurashi. Because if you run around on Friday, why not? First of all, why? What were you doing? No, sorry. I had to. Felt like I had to. Friday, we shockingly finished Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 3 Tata Higurashi.
Shockingly?
Yeah, I didn't expect to be done with it already. I expected it to take longer, because it was a very long chapter.
We also spent a long time on it. It just didn't feel like it because of the month break in between.
Tifa also hates Higurashi, apparently.
No, I mean, it just didn't feel as long because of the break.
No, that no came too late. It's too late. And anyway, when we were going through the cast review, what are you doing?
I was feeling things, but it's the...
What are you feeling?
The pillow and the blankets and the towels you put all under here.
I threw more spare blankets on the ground over there to get rid of this stupid clicking noise when the floorboards expand. I still haven't found the exact source, because then I would just pile them on there. I've just covered half the ground in this room. Yes, I am that guy. I am that person, and I own that. It's for you. It's for your viewing experience, and for me to not go insane from that sound. I'm trying, people. So, last time we finished chapter 3 and we did the all cast Floors Haunted. Yes, Oyashiro-Sama's Curse.
It's the telecom guy.
We did the all cast review thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it was announced that starting, or in the next chapter, it wouldn't be Keiichi that's the main character, but instead it would be Shion. And that the name of the chapter would be something I already forgot. And when I installed chapter 4, or I looked at it last time already, and I was like, it's not the thing Maebara something, I think it was, it's not that. Because chapter 4 is Higurashi when we cry, chapter 4, Himatsubushi. And that is not the one they mentioned. And
the chapter after this is the one they mentioned.
Yes, the one they talked about seems to be chapter 5. This is chapter 4.
But they did say this is a bonus chapter that they released, technically.
I forgot who said that, but I believe that. Anyway, Tifa, what has happened the last time when we finished Higurashi When They Cry, chapter 3, Tata Higurashi?
The last time, if you recall, Keiichi fell to a horrible seeming death from the tow bridge.
A tow bridge. A tow bridge is something you can buy on OnlyFans, I would think.
What?
Tow bridge.
From a bridge.
A suspension bridge.
Actually survived. He managed to get up feeling all sore, obviously, might have had some broken bones that he didn't feel in the moment, and stumbled back into town on his way to the hospital.
It still seemed to be afternoon. I mean, the sun was still out, the clouds were the same.
Yeah, to get checked out. Everything was very quiet though, not even the... I wanted to say Higurashis.
Yes, the Higurashi. Not even the Higurashi made any sound. No birds, no cicadas, no insects, no nothing. It was dead quiet, and for some reason it smelled like burning eggs.
Yeah, it did. On our way to the hospital we came by the school first and we ran into some special defense army...
The Japanese
troops.
Military. The SDF is the Japanese military.
Basically who were unloading things onto the schoolyard thing. So we went to have a look and
it looked like they were stacking tuna.
No, he just described it like they are stacking tuna, because tuna you stack in a row. They were unloading bags and putting them all lined up in a row, like tuna.
That's what I said.
No, you said they were stacking tuna.
For once, my recap would have been faster.
Stacking tuna is not the same thing. If you say it, that completely changes everything in that
I'm
way.
a vegetarian, I wouldn't know how to stack tuna.
Anyway, so the army was a bit surprised to see us. They started like interrogating us. Who are we? Where do we live? What's happened? We tell them our address. They bring us to the hospital.
No, they throw us into a car and Keiichi goes, so what's happening? Because it's kind of like an abduction scene, because everybody is in full military garb and some of them are wearing like full hazmat suits and a gas mask. Which is weird. They also put one on us, which is strange. So Keiichi keeps going like, so what is happening, guys? And then the driver just turns on the radio.
Yeah, no one really tells us anything, but after arriving at the hospital, the driver and the military gets out to talk to, I suppose, the hospital staff.
We hear on the radio where somebody discusses the fact that in Hinamizawa, volcanic gas leaked. Like somewhere uphill, a gas leak happened, volcanic gas came out, and because it's heavier than air, it basically rolled along the river into the like valley where Hinamizawa happens to be, and everybody died.
Overnight.
Every single person suffocated. Except us.
And Teppei, as we have learned as well.
Except for us. So now we're at the hospital, they go, oh, you're in a horrible shape, what has happened, yada yada, and Keiichi goes, I'm done with it. If my last wish as I fell was that Hinamizawa dies, and that has happened. This is really Oyashiro-sama's curse, taking away everybody that you love before it gets you, and as my last wish, take me. I'm done. I just want to die at this point. And then he passes out. And then that's that. And then credits roll for the first time in the entire history of us playing Higurashi. And in there is a list of all the victims. And then we learn that besides Keiichi having survived somehow laying in the gas, because he was found the next day, he was passed out for almost 24 hours, Teppei and Satoko were missing. Everybody else in Hinamizawa died.
No,
Literally
Satoko was also dead.
No,
Teppei
missing.
went missing. No.
Both were missing.
Satoko was definitely
Missing.
dead. Can someone confirm that Satoko was dead? Because I don't think Satoko said missing.
If your team Jack, you read the credits and Teppei and Satoko Hojo were missing. If your team Tifa, you probably also believe that these two are the same color. But only Teppei survived.
Teppei and Ooishi were missing. Ooishi also still wasn't found. But
Choose
Satoko
your
was
own
definitely
Higurashi
dead.
adventure between the
Don't
two.
make me open the last stream and go through the credits. Regardless, almost the entire city has died, and in the, I'm gonna call it after credit scene.
The post-credit scene. Thank you, Marvel.
We are listening to a tape recorder that was found by the parents of the owner of the tape, who was a journalist.
The parents of the owner of the tape.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say it. Their son, who had the tape, has died fishing, drowned somewhere on the ocean, and they started clearing up his stuff. They found this tape recorder which said something about an interview with Keiichi Maebara.
They found a tape cassette.
Tape cassette, like a year after the incident,
a
or
few
several
days,
years?
A few days after, yeah, in August. So I don't know, a few days, 2 months, I don't know.
Okay. After the incident, Keiichi has refused all interviews, all talks, and has basically gone silent because he didn't want to speak to anyone.
He had tried to commit suicide 2 days after, apparently, and ever since then was in a mental institution.
Yeah,
Where he was interviewed.
They said he had a mental disorder after everything, put him in the asylum, and no one has been really near him by then, except for this one interviewer who has been rumored to have broken in and forced him to give the interview, which is the only explanation there was for that. So we have the interview, and basically he starts blaming Keiichi for everything that has happened, that he knew what was coming and ran and let everyone die, all those weird things.
And that he can't have been where he was because if he was anywhere near the area he said, as in near that bridge, then he would have died. Because the gas literally came through there. And there's no way to survive that, because you will suffocate. There's no way to dodge that.
He should have died.
Yes.
So a lot of wild things were thrown our way, and at some point Keiichi just snapped and was like, hey, I'm going to curse you. How about I say you die by a complete opposite this time? Like, I wish Takano would die. She died by being burned alive. So how about you drown? I wish you would drown.
I'm not up to my full powers anymore. I also haven't heard the extra footstep anymore. But I still think I can curse you.
Yeah, so we had a weird little awkward moment there.
As Tifa would have repeated now if it wasn't for whatever she was trying to do. If you listen to her very long lead in to the interview, the guy had drowned. Years later, but he had drowned.
15 years later, he did actually drown.
2 days after the interview, Keiichi died from suddenly developing a high fever, and whenever he was still lucid, he was blabbering to himself saying, an extra pair of footsteps, an extra pair of footsteps. So apparently it came back?
He heard the footstep once more, apparently. Which could be a sign, I guess, of him cursing someone else again. It was a really interesting end. And like I said, in the after credit rolls, we learned who all died. Basically, everyone, with the exception of Teppei, who said he went
Satoko.
missing. Satoko, I'm quite sure did not go missing.
Satoko.
No, I really don't think so.
It only happened 2 days ago. How are you this bad at this?
I'm quite sure Satoko said that on the list.
Again, if you think Satoko has died in chapter 3, then you also probably think that these are the same color.
So yeah, fresh chapter. Here we go.
On you. Exactly, Gaming Check. And then we were told the next chapter would be something else, and now this is chapter 4, when the thing that was set up is chapter 5, and I know nothing.
Oh, so wait, why is that emo flipped around? The emo flipped around. The emote flipped around.
Emos sometimes flip around when they want to find a new comfy position to lay in. There's nothing wrong with that. The emote is flipped around because that's a feature on Twitch.
Oh.
You can also squish them or put sunglasses on them. You've seen it before. You've used it before.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That must have been in the timeline where only Teppei survived by being gone for some reason. Tifa,
It was Teppei and Ooishi.
Are you ready to start our journey into Himatsubushi?
I am ready.
Wonder what that means.
Go for it. This one was pretty short, if I recall, compared to...
Allegedly, this is the shortest chapter.
The rest.
You ready?
Yep.
As everything around us creaks. See, now squished crying Jack, because of you. Start.
Just checked, Satoko went missing. Okay.
Thank you, Psycho.
You were actually right. Thank you very much.
Himatsubushi, for you, the final mystery. Time-killing chapter. Oh, actually it is. I now entrust you with all the mysteries hidden within Higurashi when they cry. However comical it may be, if you have reached any conjecture, then you have passed. This final novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible. You have the right to reject this story.
Also, wait,
What?
Didn't they say chapter 4 was in 2 parts? The
No.
first half...
No, they did not.
No?
No.
Oh, then okay.
During the all-cast review thing, they said starting the second half of the next chapter begins the investigation arc.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
So it's in 2 halves.
Everything is in 2 halves. Or 4 quarters. Or 3/3. Or 8/8.
Never mind. But regardless, thank you, Psycho. You were right. For once. Doesn't happen often.
Listen, whoa. I can accept when you try to pick pointless fights with me. Exactly.
What?
Psycho is never wrong.
I said you were right.
Didn't she just say Psycho?
No, I said thank you, Psycho. And then technically there was a comma. You were right.
Nobody.
No, I'm sorry, that's how it was.
Nobody heard the comma and noticed that when you were talking to me.
Yeah, sorry, 2 lines, my bad.
If only the second half would have been more clear, huh?
First half, thank you, Psycho. Second half, you were right. For once, which doesn't very often happen.
And this is why I told you making a gaslighting command all about me was the wrong choice. Do you see this?
Yeah, but I make an honest mistake. You gaslight. That's the difference.
That's next level gaslighting. It was an honest mistake, officer. No, how could I have known?
It was half.
Are you ready to enter the time-killing chapter?
I am ready, whatever that means.
Also, I don't like this text. I now entrust you with all the mysteries hidden within Higurashi. However comical it may be, if you have reached any conjecture, then you have passed. This final novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible. You have the right to reject this story.
I don't think I need to get that right now.
The corpse is already burned, officer. It's not my fault somebody had a barbecue that went wrong.
It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. You heard that, right?
That I heard.
This arc includes choices that were added in the console version. These choices result in dialogue changes and can lead to bad ends. Do you want to see these choices?
Well, yes.
Okay, everybody. Do we want to see these choices? I can save when we make a choice, right? It's like other visual novels. So like worst case, we can reload and do it again. I did standard, no idea about the other choices.
Well, do we want to do them then?
Press A, okay. How about we prompt choices and highlight correct answers? How about this? We choose the third option, and every time we get to a choice with where we have to do this, we make a save and we first pick the bad one. So like we weed out all the bad endings on our way to the good one.
No, that sounds really annoying.
I want to see all the endings.
No, that sounds annoying as hell. Then you have to keep saving, going through it, then restarting, probably going through it again. You don't know how long this stuff is. Nah, I am fine with seeing the choices and highlighting the correct answers. Just to see if we would pick something else, but not to go through all of them without knowing those things.
Then how about this? I will choose prompt choice and highlight correct answers, and every time we get to make a choice, I will make a different save so that if Tifa ever changes her mind and she does want to see what can all go wrong, that also doesn't flow it. Let's just pick the last one for now. I'm gonna check the bad ones anyway. Who is the criminal, you ask? Don't we search for him in this story? Who is the criminal, you ask? Do you even know what the criminal did? Who's the criminal? Who is the criminal who will kill me now? Frederica Berncastle, depicting Guimarães Arial, Midsummer, 1985. 2 years after.
I had misread the time and ended up arriving too early. If it is Xi'an, that is. Assuming this is Xi'an. The schedule board flipped with a series of clacks. My flight to Sapporo was still a bit later on. I still had over an hour before boarding. Well, might as well close my eyes for a bit on that bench over there then. I came here directly from work, so maybe the fatigue from that was making me sleepy. Finding a suitable bench, I put my luggage on the seat next to me and settled down. Akasaka.
I don't know if that's already.
Male or female.
How about you do it first?
Phew. Do the few, then you can already...
Oh.
That's male.
Ha! I should have
It's
been
you.
reading the text the entire time. Alright, first things first, voice is... Whoop. Thank you very much.
I expected to start with Xi'an.
Phew. I sighed like an old man. I hope to stay young forever, but had become splendidly middle-aged.
Yeah, know that feeling.
Woke up a little late, welcome in Dark Lord, just as we're starting. Dark Lord,
morning to
quick
you.
question, welcome in. Thank you for allowing me to overload you with input as you're here. I take it you have played through all of Higurashi at some point, talking about the... You've missed nothing.
We started 2 seconds ago.
Psycho, I was defending you earlier.
Yeah, because we just started.
I know all the secrets. Okay, great. For this chapter, we now chose that the game shows us the choices that we can make in this one with the added console version stuff, and it also shows us which ones we have to choose for the bad endings. How long is it usually in your experience between choosing the wrong answer and then getting to a bad ending? Because I'm saying I would like to get to a choice, save, choose the bad one, see how it goes wrong, then reload and do the correct one. Tifa is saying, no.
No, you don't know how long that route is, and besides, it might only be a few dialogue changes, and then it's annoying if you have to go through the entire thing twice in a row for like 4 different lines.
I'm assuming, just to further
Which is not nice.
iterate, I'm assuming the bad endings will happen immediately. If this is like a super thought out visual novel multiple choice thing, and we make a bad choice now and then it will still take 6 hours to get to a bad ending, then I don't think I want to do that right now. But if it's like that, choices, yes.
Yeah, apparently on the consoles you could actually make choices which led to different endings, and they've added that into this version so that you can...
You think Higurashi? Yes, this one specifically does, because we are playing with 07th mod. Yeah.
Okay, but Dark Lord doesn't know either, so I say we stick to the plan. We see the options
I see
and just pick the thingy. Because otherwise it's gonna be like with Virtue's Last Reward, where you might have to go through an entire thing again.
I'm okay with doing 40 streams of chapter 4.
No.
If it's good.
Nah. Let's see what choices we have, but stick to what we want to do.
Meanwhile, I'll continue. I'm now Akasaka. Apparently, rumor that even people in the latter half of their 20s experience a decline in their physical strength wasn't a lie. I had been mind-numbingly busy at work lately, so I rarely had any time to myself. This might have been the first time I'd been able to enjoy a journey alone like this since I was a student. The reason behind this trip was to meet with an old friend. It was a bit strange to call him an old friend. In fact, it might be better to call him a bad one. After retiring a couple of years ago, he moved to Sapporo, his mother's hometown. It's Oishi. We're meeting Oishi.
Huh. Also, this airport sucks. You
Why?
have so many different stores lined up, and all of them only sell jewelry. Hancho, Mr. Busy, Osho, Yas. They all only have jewelry.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! Finally jewelry. Sounds like some jewelries. Some airports I've been to. Imagine if at an airport they had like affordable food options and drinks. Instead they
nice.
sell you things that... I feel like half the stores at airports, after you've checked in and you're waiting for your flight, only exist so that you can still buy gifts to give your wife to make up for the fact that you went and spent a week with your mistress. Get some yas before you get some cardboard Sparrow.
Yeah, basically.
Yes. Is it Sparrow or Sbarro? I know that's like a food chain in the US, right? But they don't have it here.
But yeah, airport stores are scum.
Yeah.
Especially with the prices they ask. Like, that should be illegal. It's basically the, you have no choice anyway.
Yeah. Subaru. Then why don't they write it like that? Thank you, Will. Thank you. Now we just put Hello Kitty stores there now. I'm okay with that. His mother passed away soon after, and he was now peacefully enjoying his second lease on life. His name was Kurado Oishi. I call it. Do I get a point?
No.
Wow.
But you did call it.
He was a former detective from the primary investigation unit at the station in Okinomiya Prefecture. To be honest, the only direct contact we ever had didn't last more than 3 days. After that, we exchanged New Year's cards, but never met again. So this would be the first time meeting him in 7 years. In other words, we met 7 years ago, in 1978. There was something I just had to ask, to talk to him about concerning that time. To explain that, it was impossible not to recall the incident that happened back then. That kidnapping, the details and resolution of which were resigned to darkness. Also, it was impossible not to recall a certain mysterious girl. My name is Mamoru Akasaka. It was a year that had been strangely hot, even though it was only June.
Wait, which year was this?
Now it's 1985, but now we get a flashback to early summer 1978. Mamoru Akasaka. I don't care. The incident.
Goodbye, teacher.
Oh, goodbye, teacher.
Okay, bye. Watch out for cars. And don't drop in at a friend's house along the way. Make sure you get your textbooks in order for tomorrow before you go to bed. Yes, Mom. Yeah.
Clatter. You can leave a narration here.
But it's still you. It's the flashback to you, the time you met Oishi.
I was trying. The lively sounds of children running towards the hallway.
Hey now, didn't I tell you before? I already have one of those. I don't need any more.
The unique high-pitched voice of youth. The energetic shrill of cicadas went completely unheard by their ears. Children returning home from school split off one by one from their groups of friends as they went through intersections in the residential area. Even though there were several of them in a group as they left for school, as they got closer to their homes, their numbers dwindled. That's why the fewer friends you were walking home with act as an indicator that you were that much closer to your destination.
Later. See ya. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
He finally parted ways with his last friend. Why do I think something horrible is gonna happen to young boy 1 in a moment?
Well, he did say something about a kidnapping earlier.
A van was parked at a bend in the road. The window was open, the sound of her radio leaking outside. It must have been the news or something. For that reason, the 3 of them were arrested for traffic violations and obstruction of justice. Due to the protests against the Hinamizawa dam project resulting in bloodshed when clashing with riot police last month, things have only become more violent. The police are therefore taking precautions against radical activists causing yet another incident. Last week, there was also a direct confrontation with Minister Inukai on the steps of the Ministry of Construction. The boy's ears perked up at the mention of the name Inukai. At that moment, a man's face peeked out suddenly from the window of a van. His behavior was a little different than that of a man looking around to see if there was any incoming traffic before he opened the door of his vehicle. His eyes meeting suddenly with an unfamiliar man, the boy panicked slightly. Nightingale, okay.
Skylark, okay. They've secured the 2 blocks around us. We're good to go.
The man in the passenger seat whispered quietly. Nodding in acknowledgement, the man opened the door and stood before the boy. Are you Toshiki Inukai-kun? While asking that, the man peered at the boy's name tag. Toshiki Inukai. The name was written plainly there. Kids have nameplates in Japanese schools? I mean, that's easier for the teachers in the beginning. The phone rang for a 3rd time. If he reached out, he could easily pick up the receiver. However, he was concerned that if he picked it up before it had even finished ringing once, whoever was on the other end of the line would think him a fairly cheap person. That's why he normally never picked up the phone until the 3rd ring. Even he thought it was a worthless habit. However, his thinking that there isn't much meaning in waiting for just 3 rings, wouldn't waiting for 5 be alright, was very much a reality. His mind filled with such trifling thoughts, he picked up the phone after the 3rd ring had finished, its reverb dampened by his action. What? The nightingale is Kocho, the skylark is Hibari.
That doesn't say anything.
It's call signs, and they name themselves after birds.
Okay.
I figure a skylark is a bird because I know a nightingale is a bird. That's how I figured.
Yes. Hello? Hello?
He knew that sometimes, due to a malfunction of the switchboard, calls didn't connect well. At those times it was best to hang up and let the person on the other end call again. Thinking that, the moment he began to hang up the phone, he sensed that he was definitely connected after all. He felt the presence of a person on the other end of a line keeping silent.
Hello?
There's no way they didn't hear this question. What was the meaning of this? It wasn't like he didn't know that people could use silent calls to harass others. However, he'd never received a call like that until today.
Wait, I'm a bit confused. Is the one you're narrating now the one shouting hello? Because that seems to be the case.
No.
Because he's complaining about the other one being silent.
I'm Akasaka. You are voicing probably the father of the boy who was just abducted.
Yes, but you're now talking about the other dude not saying anything, which is what I'm voicing.
I have a strong feeling he is basically going through the police report of what happened back then.
So you're the one that's being quiet and ignoring the other guy.
No, I'm narrating the scenes as they play out in front of our mental eye.
This makes no sense so far.
It's called narration, Tifa.
Yeah, but who's the one narrating?
Akasaka.
Who's not even there?
No, but the police investigated all of this, I would think, and he's going through the police report, explaining to you. I would love to press A, but Tifa is being hung up on
I'm confused on who's who
little
right
but
now.
important details. I will keep showing you this every now and then, just because it's funny to me.
Because I'm confused about who is who.
Maybe he was just lucky before, but he didn't believe that he would receive such a call on his phone. On this phone. Let me start over.
Just go.
Tifa is killing me right now. Maybe he was just lucky before, but he didn't believe that he would receive such a call on this phone. There was no direct calls to or from this line. Everything had to go through an operator. Therefore, there was absolutely no way the call would be connected unless it was verified that there was somebody else on the other end of a line. That's why he didn't understand how to deal with his silent call and instead settled into confusion.
I don't know who you are, but if you have nothing to say, I'm going to hang up. Please call again some other time.
Intending that to be a parting line, he made to slam down the receiver. It was at that moment the person on the other end spoke for the first time. You didn't say who you were, so I was anxious. If you're not Minister Inukai, please hang up right away. He couldn't help but be surprised by the extremely strange voice on the other end of the line. Was there a human alive who could speak with his hoarse and metallic voice? No, this was a voice he had heard somewhere before. This was the kind of voice that was one of those low-brow documentaries that they'd used when they wanted to hide the identity of a speaker, wasn't it? The voice he was hearing over the line was exactly like that.
Who are you?
If I had known that, I would have tried to set up like a voice-changing thing. It's like a robotic kind of voice. There's only 2 people involved here, yes.
Okay.
I'll try to give it a weird voice. As I said, that's what I want to ask. Are you Minister Inukai? He, Inukai, hesitated to answer. Unable to discern the intent of his suspicious phone call, he had a vague feeling that something was off. He thought about hanging up the phone and asking the operator who initiated the call. However, he forced himself to restrain that urge and for the time being chose to state his name and listen.
That's right. This is Inukai. I said my name, now say yours. My name doesn't matter. First of all, let's begin by thinking about the situation you're in right now. Right now you're sitting in your chair talking on the phone, yes? Then why don't you try opening the lower drawer to your right? The lowest drawer to the right of the minister's chair. There was a lock on it, not enough to function as a safe, but nevertheless it was a drawer that contained some valuable things. That's why Inukai thought that the person wanted some of the important information contained within that drawer. Sorry, but I don't have any intention of opening that. I have no reason to follow orders from somebody who won't even give me his name.
Japanese politeness in a hostage situation.
He doesn't know that yet.
Yes, but from the fact that somebody calls with a voice changer activated, you would think something is awry. But then to go, I'm not doing anything until you've stated your name. It's like, there is a way to do this properly. I think that's really sweet in a way. If you don't open that drawer, I'll hang up the phone. You will most likely end up regretting that. Why don't you think about opening that drawer first? Inukai didn't like following orders from this suspicious person one bit. Professionals have standards, exactly. We introduce each other, or ourselves to each other. However, he was concerned about what the man said about regretting it, so he decided to open the drawer. He took the small key he kept stowed in his wallet and unlocked the drawer. His hand stopped right before he opened it. What if there was a bomb inside and it would explode if the drawer was opened? That delusion took hold of him. He quelled that instinct and opened it. Why are the Higurashi suddenly making noises? Through the phone. Did you do it? The thing that's in there, do you know what it is?
What is the meaning of this? Hey!
I don't think there's any need for me to explain, is there? I'll give you some time, so please think about it a little. I'll contact you again later. Now then, pardon me.
Hey! Wait! Hello? Hello?
The call had already ended. That would not change no matter how much he yelled at it. Even still, Inukai, without realizing that, continued yelling into the receiver for a while. The drawer was still open. On top of a folders crammed into the drawer, it lay there, a dead cicada.
Nah, picture.
Toshiki Inukai. Written in plain lettering on a grade schooler's name tag, just lying there. Enshrined there, completely out of place, as if it were cowering. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely
Coincidental.
unintentional. Coincidental. Thank you. Alright.
I thought, what was his name again? Atakashi was the one who got kidnapped?
Akasaka.
But that's not the case at all. Do you remember Yuki? Don't you think this you?
Yeah, I was going to read the line, but I was still thinking for a moment. Because I was going to say...
I thought you did the...
No, sorry. What does any of this have to do with anything happening in Hinamizawa? Other than... I mean, I guess that's what the game is about, but we'll get there. Do you remember, Yuki, this picture? This is where I first proposed to you. I'm pressing A! Thank you, Dark Lord. Thank you for teaching us Japanese pronunciations. A brief moment before you nodded back. You probably wouldn't know just how much it seemed like an eternity to me. Yes. I would have never thought that amount of time could feel like an eternity. Compared to how long I had to wait for you to propose to me, it was... From that moment I met you until today. Compared to the time I've spent since I was born, it might only be a brief period, but there were definitely precious, beautiful days that deserve to be called an eternity. But time continues even now. From now on, I wonder if it'll be a boy. Or maybe a girl? Either one is fine. Boy or girl, either way it's a living proof that we love each other. If it's a boy, we'll name it after you. Mamoru.
I already forgot the name.
If it's a girl, we'll put the Yuki from my name in hers. Thinking about names is so fun that in the end we still haven't decided yet. I feel like we just switched narrators halfway through. Because... Where is it? Do you remember, Yuki? This picture. I'm having a conversation with each other. Because
I have no clue.
Suddenly it's... If it's a boy, we'll name it after you. So it's like...
Yeah, and if it's a girl, we'll put my name in it.
Yes, but that's implying that the mother is doing this. So technically there's two people talking to each other.
Well, either he's talking to the picture, or there is someone else in the room.
There's still time to puzzle over it. Not that long of a time, actually. You see, Yuki? There's something I have to apologize for today. You're Yuki.
That's still you.
You are Yuki. This is your line.
No, it would just say the name then if it changes characters.
It doesn't, because for some reason the narration here switches between two characters.
I don't think it is. It's about your job.
Sorry. It looks like an annoying bit of work has come up. In the worst case, I might not be able to be there for the delivery.
That's fine. You have a very important job. What you do protects the way we live.
Compared to you, it's nothing.
Please, go ahead. When you return, I'll be waiting here with our child.
Thank you. Also, I'm sorry.
Please don't apologize. If you feel guilty about it, then you can just atone.
If I atone that much, no matter how much money I have, it won't be enough.
It's a joke. Now, go on. I don't like this one bit so far.
Why can't they just put the names over it? As I left the room, I bumped into an elderly man. It was Yuki's father. In other words, my father-in-law. Father. I didn't want to intrude, so I waited in the hall. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard. Go. Yuki is that kind of girl. No matter what happens, she doesn't want to hold you back. I've forced Yuki to give up on so many things, to put her through this during childbirth, such an important time in her life. I'm ashamed. If you really feel that way, when you're done with your work, make some time for Yuki. She'll be happier with that than you passing your work off on someone else. Thank you. I know full well you do important work. Be proud of what you do. Yuki is looking forward to your triumphant return. Yes.
So he's in his 20s here, or early 20s.
Late teens, early 20s. Very early 20s, if anything, because
it has to be.
In the present he was talking about the physical performance declining after your mid-20s. Yeah. Like most Higurashi adults, he is in his non-specific early 30s.
Well, in the current time, he's talked about after mid-20s, so it doesn't seem like he's over 30 yet. Because otherwise, wouldn't you specifically talk about your 30s?
He also was talking about feeling or being or feeling middle-aged. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is true.
Welcome back, Benjima.
How was dinner?
Do these look the same to you? If so, you might be Tifa. I jumped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Compared to the time when I first got here, the numbers on the fare meter had grown considerably. It seemed the modest time Yuki and I had spent together wasn't so modest from an objective point of view. Kinda welcome back. Thank you for welcoming us back. What? I'm confused.
Kinda welcome back. Did we say kinda welcome back?
Kinda happy to see you? What? Very happy? What? Sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead.
No worries. Well then, off we go.
The taxi jerked as it changed gears to accelerate, soon burying the hospital my wife was in behind a throng of buildings. If it was to end up as a really troublesome ordeal, I probably wouldn't be returning for quite some time. To call a rookie like me, and on top of that, one who's off duty, it seemed that the section chief was calling for all hands on deck. The veteran upper brass gathering on an emergency basis happened occasionally. This was the first time, though, that I experienced everybody gathering together like this. Whatever was happening, there was no doubt that it was going to be something novel. Yes, it was going to be visual novel. That it was good. It was a jacket potato. I like every food that has my name in it.
Nice.
Beans, cheese, and a piece of chicken. Ooh,
I really want to make that myself as well.
Beans, cheese, and a piece of chicken?
I don't like a jacket potato.
Every potato I make is jacked. Kind of.
But I want like those super big potatoes.
So buy one.
I haven't seen any.
Go to the big potato store then. This is Germany. I'm pretty sure we have one somewhere.
That could be.
I'm good. So far, not loving the writing of this chapter, but
yeah, slightly confused in this one, but we'll see. We'll see.
For Americans, we call this a baked potato. We also call them baked potatoes over here. Actually, no, we call them oven potatoes. Ofenkartoffeln. Buy your potatoes from the dumbest farmers because they have the biggest ones. German wisdom. We also call that, but I wanted to leave it out. Nice little bit of casual racism in there. Yeah, why not? Right when my wife was ready to give birth. If I wanted to spend the time to curse my misfortunes, I'd be here all day. Even the verdant ginkgo trees lining the street that always brighten my mood seem to lack some of their usual luster. Luster? S-T-R-E. A British person translated this. Eventually, the government office came into view. Briefly holding my breath, I let the feelings of tension course through my body once again. I had to remember the work I was doing was important, necessary, and difficult. I composed myself and sharpened my wit. Ready. The taxi stopped in front of a building. Jack. Oh, Kasumigaseki, Tokyo. Metropolitan Police Department, Public Safety Division. Oh, we're getting like screen transitions and stuff now. They've really like upgraded their tech for this chapter. Didn't expect it.
Yeah, I suppose. Instead of like a nameplate on the building.
You look like you're absolutely hating this.
I'm still not a big fan. Hating is a big word.
I have a feeling it will be like
slightly confused.
I have a strong feeling chapter 4 will be important in the end, because why else would they have added it? I don't think Higurashi is the kind of game where they do anything like accidentally. Jacket makes it sound more cosmopolitan. I like it. It's not racing, it's xenophobia. Potato, you know.
Lots of words for it.
Suddenly Star Wars. It took me a while to realize that some of the standard transitions in frickin' PowerPoint are actually used in the Star Wars movies.
It's all there was back then to make it.
Yes, but if you don't realize that, you look at some of the PowerPoint ones, you're like, who would use this one? And then you watch a Star Wars movie and you're like, oh, okay, somebody did use that. And it made them $1 billion. So if it's good enough for George Lucas, it's good enough for my presentation, right? Was ahead of a curve, though. Yes, it was. You can be Kano.
Chief, everyone's here. Akasaka-kun, could you close the blinds?
Please, it's a magic word. The blinds were usually closed when we needed to use the projector, or if a discussion was going to contain some particularly disturbing content. The blinds closed with a satisfying sound, darkening the interior of a room. Oh, I know that feeling. When all the blinds go and they like seamlessly snap like shut. It's so nice. It's like, love it. Fucking font for the Avatar movies was papyrus.
Really? Didn't think I ever noticed.
It could have been worse. They could have used Comic Sans. Just saying.
True.
Immediately, the inside of the room was completely drained of a pleasant morning atmosphere, leaving behind only the cold illumination of the fluorescent lighting. After the supervisor ensured that everyone was present, he nodded to the section chief once again. With everybody on the edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report. Approximately 48 hours ago, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who is also the son of one of his staff leaders, is believed to have been kidnapped. It is believed the minister, in an effort to resolve matters amicably, chose not to report the situation to the police and plans to cede to the demands imposed upon him. It seemed that approximately 48 hours earlier, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who was also the son of one of his senior staff members, was kidnapped.
I'm glad we repeated that.
Are you fucking with me? Am I now going to read the lines of the chief, and when I read Akasaka's thoughts on this verbatim, repeating the previous line?
It's for my short-term memory.
Like, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, sure, but make it look different. The substitute is going to show a movie because we're hungover. Yes! Calling it now. This chapter 4 is important because Nightingale and Skylark were part of the S group. The kid who was abducted is connected to the people building the dam in Hinamizawa. This is why this all started.
Okay, so it's like a prequel.
So I have a strong feeling chapter 4 is gonna end with somebody getting cut into 5 pieces, and then we find 4 of them, but the last one is missing.
If it's only a short one, then and it is indeed the prequel to that, then it makes sense that it ends there. Then we go full circle.
Also, holy shit, we're finally in Hinamizawa at a different time. Oh, not yet in Hinamizawa, but ish. When you notice this happens often in Japan, it's wild how much it comes up.
The kidnapping or
the repeating part. The reason why it was phrased that way was because the person in question didn't admit it had happened. Based on the results of surveillance conducted on the minister's residence, multiple suspicious phone calls from what is believed to be outside the city took place. The abducted child is said to be under treatment for some illness, but there's no trace of any hospital records or witnesses to such a fact. Due to that and various other reasons, we believe without a doubt that a kidnapping has occurred. Here they omitted the details that brought this incident to light. If you think about it a bit, that meant that before this incident happened, the minister's residence had been under surveillance already. I won't use the word spied upon. Of course, there wouldn't have been court approval for this, and it would have been very hard to explain to ordinary citizens. However, it was quite an effective method to catch wind of incidents like this before they got worse. I'd like for you to understand that dealing with these cases before they become a problem is the job of a public safety division. So it's like Secret Service.
Basically, yes.
We surveil you so that just before things can go wrong, we can already try to stop the thing. You just have to give up some of your privacy, that's cool, right?
Why is he just following their demands instead of reporting this to the police? The fact that a minister can't even trust the police, what is this world coming to?
It seems the group of perpetrators demonstrated that they have quite a high level of surveillance on the minister themselves when they conducted the kidnappings, enough to give the minister pause before calling the police.
We'll find out right away if you call the cops, more or less. So it's possible that there's a mole close to the minister.
Several of the higher-ranking members who seem to have experience with this kind of thing let out deep sighs. Deep.
That is deep. That is not the deep sigh.
The goals of the perpetrators, the demands, as well as this entire incident are, as of yet, unclear. But in any case, the possibility that this may grow to threaten national interest is extremely high. If their goal was to simply have their demands met for monetary gain, that would have been nice. However, if this was some politically motivated shakeup, things would get a lot more complicated.
Since we're not receiving any cooperation from the victim, that means that we're not privy to any of the details of the threats or demands.
Due to the fact we believe there may be a mole involved in this incident, this investigation is highly classified. Only the people in this room are to know of this. Furthermore, as this case is our utmost priority, we'll be placing a hold on everybody's normal duties. Understood? After that, the supervisor continued on, tactfully explaining our course of action. If this incident were to become public, it was possible that the minister's political life would be over.
Why though? Just because your grandson got kidnapped.
Stigma.
That means you're important enough that someone wants to stop you because you're doing the right thing and the evil people are out to get you. How will that ruin your career?
If you manage to spin it this way, yes. Or the people had to rise up to stop the bad thing from happening because normal means it didn't work.
They wouldn't go after the grandson.
Many, many years ago, Tifa, I forgot the name of a politician. Somebody was running to become president of the United States. And he was leading. I forgot the name, unfortunately, but you can Google it with the details I'm about to give you. And he was leading in the polls. And then he, in public, I think he laughed at a joke somebody told. And the way he laughed was reported on in the news that he was laughing weird. And that killed his campaign. People were not going to vote for somebody. Howard Dean, thank you, that's it. People were not, they lost trust in Howard Dean because of how he laughed.
So he was just running at the wrong time. If he runs now, that will be less of an issue.
Voted. You're like, yeah, at the end of his speech, and people just left. Yeah. People when you're a politician, you want to be covered in Teflon. You don't want anything to touch you. You don't want anything to stick to you that you don't want to.
Yeah, but I don't think...
No, sorry, you mean... Yeah.
I want to say you can spin this in a very different way, because it's not a personal...
Of course you can try to.
It's not even a personal act. Someone is out to stop you. And you can absolutely spin it that way, I want to say.
This is one of a few good arguments against democracy. Really? A stupid laugh is enough to sway your vote? Psycho, I never thought I would read a statement like this and agree with it. Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Nothing in politics surprises me anymore at this point.
I'm gonna go even further. I'm gonna say, just like with driving, there should be a license on you being allowed to vote. And there should be questions like, if your candidate laughs in a shrill, high-pitched sound that you don't like, would you still vote for him? And if you check no, you don't get to vote. Because that has nothing to do with anything. Nothing. Absolutely zero. That being said, yeah.
But immediately assuming his political career is finished also doesn't seem right.
We will get when.
Or it doesn't feel like it should make sense.
I'm sure we'll get one a moment if I press A. Yeah, but who gives a license to vote? The people you vote in the first place? Big can of worms. Psycho, I was trying to still have a good thing. Why do you come with more sensible questions and statements, making my whole tower of thought just topple? Yeah, and that's why we don't have them, I guess. Let's do this. We will educate people, or we'll try to educate people to the point where they would still vote for somebody, even if they think they have a stupid laugh. Never. Unless when Tifa says so.
Or we just have to make it a thing that every politician has to have a stupid laugh.
Only people with non-regular laughing sounds get to run.
Even if they have a normal one, once they are in their role, they have to have like a snorting one,
That sounded really cute, actually.
I don't know.
I shouldn't do that too loud, probably. Our neighbors are thinking a dog is dying down here. Now, I'll spare you the explanation of how the rest of the dominoes would fall, but in the end, support on the diet would decline, followed by a no-confidence vote and a snap election, and it might even expand communist influences.
Fair enough. It's like, though, how are you going to protect us if you can't even protect your grandson?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you going to protect the country from the commies? Fire! I said it first, Psycho. One brain cell. Active. Firing in all 1.5 cylinders. People really hated commies in the 70s, yes. Still do, for some reason. In other words, we want to handle this delicately. Kawasaki and Saeki monitor communications from a minister. No. Kawasaki and Saeki monitor communications from a minister in the child's residences 24/7. Find out what the minister is doing. Report anything that happens. The remaining members, investigate whatever is related to the case assigned to your units. Focus your line of investigation on the commies, rats, and confads. Don't discount the possibility of foreign involvement either. This is big, Tifa.
I mean...
We're not just like some police grunt that like does like speeding tickets and stuff. We are CIA level people.
Yeah.
A rookie, but still.
I'm not sure why we have been put into this group, but sure.
Because I purchased chapter 4 of Higurashi. I've experienced 1 or 2 unamicable situations before. This, however, was the first time I've seen things get so hectic. Several sophisticated conversations were progressing without the involvement of a rookie like me. I didn't intend to be timid, but I couldn't hide my confusion at this unfamiliar situation.
And cover that. As for Akasaka-kun.
I snapped back to alertness upon hearing my name called. Yes.
You investigate the environmental groups that have been petitioned to the minister. You investigate the environmental groups that have petitioned the minister. Amongst them, there's a group protesting the Hinamizawa Dam project that made the papers. Make sure you investigate them thoroughly. I doubt this is the act of some citizen group, but we have to eliminate every possibility we can.
Not citizens, but maybe the S group. Understood. So, those opposed to the Hinamizawa Dam.
It's probably best if you go to the location personally. Get some information from the local authorities. They're a fairly radical organization, so the public safety division there should have them marked as well.
Understood. I'll head over.
Your wife, she's almost ready to give birth, isn't she? I apologize for the timing of all this, but I'm counting on your cooperation. We can't take our time with this, so we just have to brute force it with our boots to the ground.
Yeah, I know. My wife hates to interfere with my work with her own circumstances anyways.
What a good wife.
That is such a Japanese, but also 1970s, 80s line of thinking. I'm sorry for my wife being pregnant, highly pregnant at this point in time where it might interfere with my emotions or my thoughts while I'm here at work. I'm sorry, sir. We've come a long way.
Sorry, and thanks. So then, as for Kawasaki-kun and Saiki-kun to help support your...
I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was about to give birth. Even if I was a little busy, as long as I was in Tokyo, I could head to the hospital right away. On assignment though, that'll be difficult. Even so, I knew the work I was doing was important and fully understood that I was in no position to be so selfish. I'd have to make it up to my wife for having to be away at such an important time. Yeah, just get her pregnant again and watch for second birth. Easy. If you miss that one, do it a third time.
Big brain.
Yeah, just suddenly have like 12 children because he's always magically on assignment.
Just get rid of this kid and go for it again.
Why get rid of this kid?
So that you can witness the firstborn being born.
Just hit Control Z to undo. Let's just make another one is a proactive outlook. Yeah, like, you know.
It's very positive.
Fixing the birth rates, exactly. There you go, governments of the world. Just take my advice. Nothing bad will happen.
Now it's going to be a rule that no husband can witness the birth of his firstborn, and if he wants to, they need to get a second child. Wasn't there currently a Japanese politician that in order to increase the birth rates, he wanted to make...
They actually are in some places introducing the 4-day work week so that you have an extra day to boink.
No, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of having a rule that women at their 30s have their... What's it called?
Tubes tied.
Their tubes tied to force them to have kids earlier if they want them, because otherwise it's too late.
This is not us advocating for this. This is something a Japanese politician has suggested to be done.
And also something about marriage rates. I believe you can only get married before your 25th.
Something like this, but like that already is bad. Very bad. Don't get me wrong. But there was also something in there like... we should just bar women from pursuing higher education and jobs so that they can so that they have to can focus on being homemakers.
Yeah, so that they can focus on their family, children, and not ruin the birth rate by working and prioritizing their career.
I have a hot take. How about instead of punishing people for choosing to live a certain life, if you want to increase your birth rate, how about you incentivize people to do that? For example, when a child is born, usually, at least in Germany, the government gives you money. Kindergeld, child money, basically.
Japan does that as well.
Imagine,
they might already have that.
Like a tax break for kids. Yes, why don't you just try to, I don't know, double the tax break for kids?
Yeah, and I feel like in Germany you also get punished. I mean, we pay more taxes for not having children.
That makes sense.
I feel like I will help the economy in Germany too, because we have a housing crisis. By us not having kids, I help your kids with getting a house. Because if I had kids as well, our kids would be fighting for the same house, prices would go up even more.
You're welcome,
so I feel like I am doing my part to get your kid a house.
Introducing my favorite letter is X+, so that our children don't steal your children's homes.
Exactly. And still I gotta pay more taxes for not having kids.
Or cheaper loans for houses, yes.
Yeah. I feel like there are lots of incentives
But the thing is, if you make incentives, that costs the government money. And if you just take things away, then they don't spend the money. Instead, they have more money because they took it away. See? We're smart.
The problem is as well, if you put rewards to having children, you might have people that will only have a kid to claim those rewards, because that's already a thing with child money. I don't even know what it's called every month. They have kids, they don't care, but they just want to.
No, hard disagreement. The vast majority of people that have children don't do it for commercial reasons.
Vast majority, no, but it might increase the number of people if you put like more rewards to it.
Yes, okay, fair.
The other side is what I'm saying.
Somebody might be incentivized. I still want to argue that is such a minor amount of people that you should not even consider that to be a reason not to do these things.
Yeah. So we have to stop you from having kids?
Yes, so that my kids don't have to compete with your kids for housing.
No. That's a fair deal.
And people, if the money isn't starting to flow in right now, I'm gonna go on a short break. I think 4.5 minutes is enough.
4.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Forward.
Kids.
I lost you there.
Benjima understood. Thank you. Thank you. Tifa is so innocent she doesn't get it. Okay, yeah, everybody gets it. Thank you. Tifa is so lost, yes.
I don't get it. What do you need 4.5?
We all know jokes get funnier when they're explained, right? I'm sorry, everybody. So, I don't know. Spoilers for the joke I just set up. So, do you remember, Tifa, how a few streams ago, I think, we made this joke about introducing my favorite letters X plus and just give us money. That was a joke the entire time, by the way. And then something non-stupid, like you get something that would take away from you otherwise. Now I set up my favorite letters X plus again as a subscription. If people pay us money, we don't have kids, right?
Yeah.
And now I said, if the money isn't going to start flowing in the next few minutes, I'm gonna go on a short break. I'll need about 4.5 minutes.
Yeah,
and then it's too late.
Now I get it. Damn, that took long.
For 4.5 minutes, yeah, on a good day.
I was just gonna say I think we need a break, but now the timing feels off.
We should not go on a break right now.
No, it's okay. We'll still give you a moment.
And the worst thing is she truly did not understand. You can tell from her face.
I just didn't get the...
Tifa, you are the dumbest smart person I know. It's disgusting sometimes, but anyway.
Because my mind wasn't there.
Where is it? Can you get it back?
In the game.
Oh.
Talking about serious topics like solving Japan's birth decline.
Birth rate decline. Births don't decline, birth rates do. Anyway, my wife, Yuki, would probably forgive me with a smile. The only thing she could hate doing would be holding me back. My male ego, though, at least wished she would have tried to stop me. Sorry, Yuki. I don't mind if you always complain to our child that their father couldn't come home to the hospital when they were born because he was too busy with work. This is a good moment for a break. Better to be a dumb smart person than a smart dumb person. Yeah, agreed.
I feel like with me it comes down to the
I
same
feel
thing.
like I'm a smart dumb person sometimes. Like in my head everything makes sense and then on the way to my mouth it's like...
Yeah, I feel that. Quite often actually.
Yeah, we noticed.
I use up all my smartness between certain hours on the day, and after that I just like run out.
Running on fumes. Like sometimes when you look at a cat and the cat is like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just staring off into the void.
Exactly.
Tifa, how about we take a short break to replenish our drinks and stretch our legs for a moment, not to fix the declining birth rates in Germany?
Sounds like a plan. 3 minutes. BRB.
I can't do it under pressure. BRB. Sorry everybody.
We're back.
Forgot to fix my hair. 3 minutes?
I think we made 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Bit tight, but we made it in the time we had. All right.
That's no longer fixable.
Yeah, no, we can only do that joke once. That hair does not come back. Now I have this like middle thing. No, I'm not going to stream like that. No,
Just leave it.
no,
Oh
I will not sit here with a Mittelscheitel. No, that does not look good on me. I'm actually a really vain person. I've mentioned that before. Like when my skin gets like all reddish and like pimply, that completely kills my self-confidence. So, yeah, that's better. Simple things like this can really ruin my day. I try not to let that happen, but I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't.
Feeling better?
Slightly. Why are you laughing?
Nothing.
Is my hair still weird?
No.
No. What is it now?
It's fine. You being so worried about your hair.
Did you realize that Tifa thinks we have the same color? Smoke bomb, distraction. The next day I took the bullet train to Nagoya and from there transferred to the train to prefecture. Why can't they say where Hinamizawa is located? Isn't it based on a real area? Or would that like be like an issue then?
Yeah, but that's with a lot of things, or I don't get why don't you just say the house number?
Why can you say Shishibone but you can't say the prefecture? It's like, how many Hinamizawas are there? Anyway, getting to my destination by land took several hours. If I was traveling by air in that amount of time, I could probably get as far as Hong Kong. It's always Hong Kong! Why is everybody in the 80s, late 70s, in Japan trying to get to Hong Kong? Everybody. It's following us. Prefecture was by no means close. I never sat in first class except for work, but whenever I did, the seat seemed stiff. Closing my eyes, I mentally reviewed the documents I read yesterday. This is what I call sleeping. Jack, what are you doing? Huh? No, I was mentally reviewing the documents I read yesterday. Sure thing. The group under investigation, the Onigafuchi Guardians. Who would be Hinamizawa and Gollum? Satoko. 100% Satoko.
That does seem a little bit fitting.
Yeah. Satoko would 100% do like the walking on all fours. Yeah. Can you do like a My Precious in your Satoko voice?
My precious.
Yeah, it just works. Mind Palace Akasaka. Yes. There are a group of residents opposed to the development proposed under the Hinamizawa Dam project. The local protests were quite heated and were getting more radicalized. Even limited to what was written in the newspapers, there was bloodshed that occurred during a clash with riot police, interference with the dam construction, too many to count. The number of petitions, sit-ins and direct appeals to the relevant organizations were innumerable. As an extension of that, there was a direct appeal to the Minister of Construction the other day. This was the reason why we were investigating the group in the first place. The land that they lived on was going to be submerged, so it was no wonder they would go into a frenzy over it. Even given that, though, could they really be capable of doing something like kidnapping the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to halt the project? From my take on it, I had serious doubts. This kidnapping plot was extremely sophisticated and complicated enough that it was believed there was some political backing. This wasn't something that could be pulled off by some group of local protesters. Well, just like the chief said, the plan was to eliminate all possibilities. While I'm in the police's reference room taking my time investigating, the higher-ups in Tokyo would probably solve the case. Without my involvement entirely. Also, I need to give Tifa something to... Here. She's doing something with her hands, and I cannot tell what. She's fidgeting, but I don't know what she's doing, and I can see it from the corner of my eye, and it's throwing me off.
Well, what is this?
Oh, you know what you should play with? That thing. That thing can take it and it's quiet. Can you not do that? I'm allergic to dust.
It's not dust, it was covered in a spider web. It's a super cute little squid plushie.
We got it from some electric company that had a stand that was trying to get new customers. And instead of signing a contract with them, we got a plushie. They got no money from us, but we got a plushie.
Even called Octopus Energy. Thank you for the plushie.
Not an ad. Not an ad. Sit like a human. Stop ignoring the redeems.
Sitting like a human. Not ignoring it, I was already sitting super straight. Oh, neck back.
Yeah, now you are sitting straight.
I feel like now I'm sitting so weird and awkward.
Yes, like a human.
This doesn't feel very human.
Do that there where I can see your fingers.
And I need to go a bit more forward.
No, you... Alright. Thank you, Dark Lord, for trying to help Tifa's posture. I need a sip of water. Even if that was true, I couldn't regret being away from Tokyo while my wife was ready to give birth. This was work. There was really nothing I could do.
Ding dong.
The announcement that we would be arriving at our destination soon snapped me back to wakefulness. At first I misread that as waifu-ness. I was like, what? Gogura Prefecture. The Onigafuchi Guardians.
Yeah, they've been quite active around here.
The Prefectural Public Safety Department already had the documents and a cup of tea ready and waiting for me.
That's nice.
It is.
The short of it is that they're a group of residents opposed to the dam. Really, it's probably better to say that every resident living on the land that's going to be submerged is rising to action, though. Like the old saying, fight to the last, they're determined and well-prepared lot. It'd be nice if they drew the line at just being a moderate residential organization.
Can you really expect people to be moderate about the land they and like hundreds of years of ancestry have lived on to just be submerged? Like, I don't know, I would expect some sort of resistance against that. The stacks of paper they had prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin.
At first, they were pretty much your average citizen's initiative, but ever since that incident with the riot police, they've really started to heat up. Now they've got a violent mentality, on top of growing increasingly radical.
Violent organizations usually indicate ones that enforce their own ideology without regards to the democratic process. Breaking that down, many of those organizations held extreme left revolutionary ideologies. Extremely left ideology, like, please don't destroy my home. Considering that, I couldn't help but be surprised that a citizens group would end up going this far. The radical citizens movements happen occasionally. It seemed, however, that this group was nothing as trifling as that. It seemed that I would have to reconsider exactly what this Onigafuchi Guardians was. The Guardians' demand, in other words, the withdrawal of the dam project, how far would they go to have that demand met? The kidnapping of the minister's grandson was classified. That meant, of course, I couldn't tell the prefectural department about it either.
As you know, there were arrests after last week's confrontation with Minister Inukai. There's enough reason to believe they could use illegal means to assert their demands.
I skimmed over the list of the criminal records related to the Onigafuchi Guardians recorded in the documents. The contents were all violent, not giving me the barest hint of a feeling that these people were trying to uphold the law. Could you give me a basic rundown of the types of illegal activities the Onigafuchi Guardians are engaging in? The chief opened up a manila envelope, finished out several unorganized sheets and spread them out on the desk.
Finished.
What did I say?
Finished.
Yeah, he finished them. They were not yet fully written, so he took them out and then...
there's some words missing.
He struck through the T's, he dotted the I's.
That's quite fun to do.
Yes, Chief?
Oh, sorry. It seems that raids on the construction site are the most common. At first, they were committing relatively petty crimes like cutting power cords, jamming locks, and breaking office windows by throwing rocks.
Of course, what really happened first were things like demonstrations, sit-ins, and distribution of pamphlets, lively but democratic forms of protest. However, then the demonstrators and police clashed, which started a riot, leading to numerous injuries and arrests. It was from then on that the Onikafuchi Guardians, like the name implies, began to take a more demonic form of resistance. If the raids were frequent, didn't the local police up their patrols?
Well, of course they were on full alert, but they were up against locals, you know. There wasn't much the police could do if they were sneaking around under the cover of darkness.
Yeah, plus, I want to say it does make a bit of a difference if you're being called out there to, I don't know, make a random stranger group of people like shut down something versus you coming face to face with all of your neighbors.
Yeah.
You know?
Who you have a pretty close personal bond with, probably.
Yeah.
It sucks even more if you're also against the dam construction.
Yeah, but I have to protect it because I'm police, right?
Yeah.
I would be on your side, man. Civil disobedience and uncivil criminal activity. Both of those should be names of TV shows. Like CSI.
Could be.
The new serial drama, Civil Disobedience and Uncivil Criminal Activity. Now on, I don't know where those shows run. You might as well label the entire map of Hinamizawa village around the dam construction site enemy territory. No matter how alert the police were, the locals would just show them exactly how easy it was to sneak around.
Actually, it was after the police upped security that the protesters started getting even more extreme, as though they were being provoked. See here? Can you tell how things started to heat up?
An office set on fire.
It literally started to heat up.
Yes. The destruction of heavy construction equipment. Destruction? They couldn't have used explosives.
No way. You see, they crammed the gas tanks full of sugar cubes. If they do that, it fouls the engines.
I did not know that. And if you think about it, that is genius.
That's such an easy way.
Yeah.
Sugar cubes are easily available.
Do you know how sweet? Exactly. Do you know how hard it is to get explosives and to blow up anything? Like, that takes skills so that you don't hurt yourself or people you want to not hurt. If you can just grab some sugar and throw that into the gas tank.
Yeah, well, basically don't put anything that isn't gas in your gas tank. Fair.
I feel like Dark Lord, exactly that wording is very appropriate on the internet. Don't put anything that isn't gas in your gas tank.
Why
you
sugar
freaks.
Specifically, though?
Because sugar can clog the fuel injectors or the fuel filter if there's too much of it. I know this from the top of my head because I'm a huge petrol head, and not because I was reading off of capitalsobaru.com, which was the first thing that popped up when Tifa just googled that. Basically, it kills the engine.
Apparently, several people deal with sugar in their gas tanks.
Because it's piss easy to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The more you know.
Do you need the car key to open? Actually?
No, you just...
Yeah. Everybody can open the
that.
thing, right? I mean, worst case, you break it off. You want to destroy the thing anyway. You won't care if it gets scratched. Yeah. Even in Japan, it seemed there had been people doing that to the vehicles of occupying forces right after the war. Compared to misdemeanors like breaking windows, it was extremely violent and aggressive. I never would have considered dumping sugar into a vehicle to be extremely violent and aggressive. Let's see, not usually. There's either a switch for it in the front or it pops out. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, really? I never noticed.
But then again, if you want to destroy the car, you will just use a crowbar and pry it open. Because I don't care where the switch is. I just want this thing to not run anymore.
I always thought those things were just open.
No. Imagine when you're driving, something hits that and it just flies out.
I don't know, maybe with like a magnet system. like that sort of thing, where if it's closed, it's closed.
Apparently not. After being toyed around with to that extent, the local police have completely lost face.
The arson was a bit much. After that, the local police drastically increased the number of personnel they had stationed there around the clock. The raids on the construction site quieted down a bit after that.
He used the words quieted down, but that was still smack dab in the middle of the list of crimes.
See, after that, after they found the attacking the site had become difficult, they started resorting to personal attacks. The first people targeted were the construction workers.
After that, there was a silence. What was being described to me was a guerrilla war fought in the jungle. Threats and violence against the workers. Harsh words and harsher rocks were thrown. There's quite a list of accusations here, but there's not a whole lot of convictions.
Of course not. First of all, there's no witnesses. On top of that, even if we identify the perpetrators, they have alibis coming out of the woodwork.
What do you mean by that?
Suddenly, the whole neighborhood has parties every day where everyone was from morning till night.
Yeah. Him can't have been him. He was helping me reorganize my manga collection alphabetically and by color.
Take, for example, you're walking around Hinamizawa when a certain man stabs you with a knife. You remember the person clearly and even know his name and address. However, the knife doesn't have any fingerprints on it and there's no other physical evidence. Well, you'd think this would be a run-of-the-mill case of assault, would you? In Hinamizawa, though, it's a perfect crime.
Everybody is. The entire village, they're all in on it. To protect the man who was the perpetrator, they'll get their story straight and prepare an alibi. To that end, they'll probably even forge some evidence.
There's nothing they can do but put them on trial. On top of there not being any material evidence, though, people testify one after another to cover his side of the story. Any prosecutor would hesitate to file charges. I'm not sure about murder, but if it's something like opening a gash on somebody's forehead with a thrown rock or leaving a bruise after hitting someone, even if you could single out the suspect, there's enough reasonable doubt to not convict.
All it would do is clog down the entire legal machinery.
Yep.
Every case is without a doubt perpetrated by someone in Hinamizawa, but they can't identify who. Even if they could figure out who it is, they're unable to obtain enough circumstantial evidence through due process. The villagers were all extremely well informed about this, and so the malicious, vicious, and tenacious personal attacks continued. The victims can't have been okay with that, right? Couldn't they have filed for an appeal?
Well, you see about that. Everybody on the inquest committee didn't want to get involved with something so troublesome. They won't stick their noses into anything related to Hinamizawa.
The inquest committee is comprised of random selection. The inquest committee is comprised of a random selection of local residents. The inquest committee also sounds like a great name for a guild in an MMO. But then with a dash, the inquest committee.
Basically.
That's like poetry, because TICC, they have a ticks.
Works.
TICC, TIQC. Well, you would still pronounce it tick, I guess. Tick. Anyway, it made sense in my head.
It works, don't worry.
In the event a prosecutor fails to get a conviction, they have the power to order a retrial. It's a system designed to assert the will of the people on the actions of expert prosecutors in the legal world. In this case, however, being composed of local residents has backfired. They don't want to get involved. Why is that?
How do I explain this? You could say they're afraid, since it's a little special there.
Special? Is it an outcast community?
No, it's a little different from that. Well, just think of it as them being afraid. It's a little hard to explain it just now. Oh, right, there's an easier way.
So listen, Akasaka, you're new here. Imagine if there was a swamp, but the swamp is actually Satan's anus. And 6,000 years ago, allegedly, demons got pooped out of that, right? So... Wiping his forehead with a handkerchief, he opened a file labeled as a list of members of the Onigafuchi Guardians. Let me guess, they're all Sonozakis.
Oh, I think so too.
I have a strong feeling.
No, the 3 families. Actually, no, 2 families. One was in favor.
I have a feeling there's going to be 5 families. And one of them...
No, Rika's family was in favor, which is why they...
Satoko's was.
Satoko's also good. Were in favor, and that's why...
Are you confusing your little girls?
Yes.
Wow.
The power of the Onigafuchi Guardians, you see, is the fact that they count many people among their members who are influential in neighboring areas. Could you take a look at this?
I looked. What I saw startled me. Prefectural and municipal assembly members, staff members of a chamber of commerce, an executive of a business association, an executive of a town council association, and a PTA liaison. There were more than a few people with a lot of say both locally and in the neighboring regions.
Around here you could pretty much expect your actions to be observed by those against the dam project.
Observed?
Observed. If you said something in its support, who knows how it'd work out to your disadvantage. In any case, every town in this area is being held by the throat by somebody from Hinamizawa.
Hinamizawa? It's back, people! The list of Inquisition Committee members is undisclosed, right? The list of Inquisition Committee members is undisclosed, isn't it? There has to be some measures in place to make sure they'd avoid retribution, no?
Well, it is undisclosed, so their privacy is assured, but the person in charge of that is from the Okinomiya Municipal Office. Munical?
Munical. Yes, it's like musical, but it's from the town in Bavaria in Germany called Munich.
Well, if it's not those two, then what is it?
Municipal.
That's what I said.
You said municipal.
I said the municipal first, and then you were laughing, and then I said municipal.
You did not even.
I'm quite sure I did.
No.
I'm gonna rewatch that.
Please do.
In other words, the local.
Why not just say that?
While you might expect some professional confidentiality, you can't know how everybody is connected. The people from Hinamizawa have a lot of tight bonds in that regard.
When you consider the obligations and duties people have to the region, the web of information thereby formed is nothing to scoff at. But you can yawn at it. It's not uncommon for housewives in a neighborhood to know which kid from which house is what grade in which school, what subjects they're good at, and what vegetables they hate, among other things.
You see, there's a Yakuza organization here with strong ties to Hinamizawa and the surrounding area. It would seem that they're providing full support in these recent incidents. They seem to be proving most effective.
Gangsters? Siding together with the residents opposed to the construction of a dam. It's a little hard to see what their common interest is.
It's not that difficult at all. You see, actually one of the lieutenants... no.
Yes,
lieutenants.
Finally, she says a big word completely properly and it completely throws her off. Lieutenants.
Yeah, but I didn't say that. You see, actually one of the lieutenants in that gang is originally from Hinamizawa. He was adopted into a rather influential family in the village.
Somebody got adopted. Who? Exactly what was this Hinamizawa? I had thought it was some desolate rustic village. However, for some reason they exerted a strong influence on the surrounding areas and had a strong sense of unity. They would protect their village by any means necessary, even if that meant resorting to violence. The chief had said that they were afraid because there were numerous influential people living there, but somehow I got the feeling that they were afraid of the village itself. There was something clearly different from what I had read in the documents in Tokyo. This was no simple residential protest against the dam. For some reason, an uneasy feeling began to nestle itself at the back of my mind. I chose the most basic way to ask my question. In other words, I directly asked what I wanted to know. Are there demons here? Chief, this is just a hypothetical situation, but this Onigafuchi Guardians, in order to halt the dam project, do you think they could, say, threaten somebody important to accomplish that? The chief replied immediately.
It's possible.
Yes.
Truth be told, they've already gone to municipal and prefectural offices as well as local offices of the Ministry of Construction and done things that could be construed as intimidation. Several of the workers' families have also reported that they're being followed around by some suspicious people.
Well, that would make sense. To halt progress on the dam, they raided the construction site, destroying heavy machinery and lighting the construction office on fire. If they didn't have any qualms about doing that, threats and violence against people related to the dam would probably be no problem. But that was it. Even your everyday hoodlum could use threats and violence. However, this time it was the kidnapping of a minister's grandson, an abnormally high-level crime. Not only was pulling off a kidnapping difficult in the first place, but so was maneuvering to have the minister surrender to their demands immediately. There was no way this was the work of amateurs.
Even though it felt like the kidnapping itself went relatively easy.
Yes.
So that didn't seem that difficult. Putting his name tag in his office, that's a different story.
But you would think that somebody like the grandson of a minister would have some sort of security detail around?
I don't necessarily think so.
Maybe... No, actually, yeah, I would think so. I would hope so, at least certainly in the current day and age in 2024, I would imagine that's a thing. That, like, once you're high enough up the list, then, like, what are they called? Secret Service. You have a detail that protects you and your family.
I think, like, the ministers in the Netherlands also don't have protection.
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm quite sure they don't.
Did these people have the power to enact this large of a crime? That was the heart of the matter. Was the Onigafuchi Guardians an organization capable of pulling this off? In order to ask that question, once again, I chose the most basic method. Again, hypothetically, do you think they could kidnap a relative of someone of political importance?
Also, if someone from the CIA comes into this little police station and immediately comes with, hypothetically, do you think they could do this or this or this?
Asking for a friend.
Like, I'm just like curious what's in their power to do. Like, so, do you think that's possible?
I'm sorry, I cannot get over the fact that Tifa counts to 3 like this. Like this seems like you're doing an oath or something.
What's wrong with this?
No, you held your...
Yeah, we already had that discussion. No, that's unnatural.
1, 2, 3. No. You disgust me. There's no way they could pull off something that big. That was the answer I most hoped for. If it was that answer, my work was as good as halfway done. I might be able to get back in time for my wife to give birth. That was how it was supposed to be. The chief, without a hint of hesitation, replied,
that Tim Waltz would be very disappointed.
Does he also do this?
Who's Tim Waltz?
Never mind, wrong name. I think Tim Waltz was the guy that ran as vice president together with Kamala Harris. Yeah.
And who would he be disappointed in? Probably Jack, but we should still ask.
Yes. Also, what do I know this from? This seems like... This is this the thing that some statues do?
What? Statues?
Yes. You've never seen those statues in, like, I think Southeast Asia.
Oh,
where they stand like this.
I now know what you mean, but I don't know which.
Oh, Christoph Waltz. Fuck, man.
Basically the same name.
You had the waltz part right. And they're both people of public interest, so I don't blame you.
It both has an I in it, so.
And a T. Yeah.
And a T, yeah.
And the M is just silent. Press A, please. No, let's talk for another moment about how Psycho got Tim Walton.
They just might. There's no telling how far they'd go.
You are never wrong, so clearly you must have meant to do that.
Must have been Tim.
Exactly. Now Tim Waltz is the actor. Sorry, Yuki. It seemed like my work wouldn't end so simply after all.
Oh, Kasaka-kun. Good work. How's the information gathering at your assigned region?
That's my chief. Imagine giving us a little bit of headway there, game. Kasaka-kun, good work. How's the information gathering at your assigned region? It's coming along. It seems I'll be able to meet with a local public safety department, so I'm planning on heading out that way. How's the investigation in Tokyo going? The others are progressing along, but the number of groups who have to investigate are countless. Time isn't really a luxury here. No new developments at this time. No matter how suspicious the Onigafuchi Guardians was, if they solved the case in Tokyo, my job was done. It looked like my wishful thinking wouldn't come to pass. Hanging up the phone, I let my gaze drift outside the window to the valley of unfamiliar buildings.
Kasaka-kun? Oh, son.
Wow, Kun, excuse you?
Hey, we're now buddies.
We don't have that kind of relationship
We
yet.
are now buddies. A car you can borrow just returned.
Just because he gave me tea.
I'll take you to it, so follow me. See? We're buddies.
Ah, thank you. He showed me the elevator to the underground parking lot where a battered sedan was waiting for me. That the steering wheel kept drifting to the left was a little concerning, but it would be enough to get me around for a while. My destination was Shishibone City, Prefecture, an area under the control of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The Okinomiya police station was right on the front lines. So I guess this is where he meets Kuraudu Ooishi.
I would think so.
Okinomiya Prefecture, Okinomiya Police Station.
I feel like sometimes these things are kind of pointless.
Shishibone City was, as far as provincial cities went, rather behind the times. Okinomiya, recessed in the mountains, was even more remote. With little change between the seasons, all that was left was the tepid passage of time. It made for a rather drab town. There were no tourist attractions or local delicacies. Without even a strong regional industry, it was simply dull. Have you heard of Angel Mort? Because I think there is some delicacies there. Just looking at the monotonous and peaceful townscape, it was hard to catch a glimpse of the radical resistance of the Onigafuchi Guardians. The atmosphere of boredom didn't hint of the Okinomiya police station being on the front lines of a dam conflict, nor of the numerous incidents that I heard about at the prefectural headquarters. Some delicious cake, alright? Yes.
Good morning. Are you here to pay a fine?
No, I have an appointment with Hondaia-san from the Public Safety Division. Please tell him it's Akasaka.
My apologies. Please wait a minute.
The clerk, who thought that I was here for parking ticket violation at first glance, after fumbling with the unfamiliar extension number, told the person on the line they had a visitor.
Welcome, welcome. Akasaka-san, was it? Must have been tiring traveling out all this way. Sorry we have to do this here. Tried to reserve a reception room, you see. But the counselor suddenly woke up and chased me out.
I would hesitate to call where we were a conference room, as it was very small and cluttered. The cramped space was packed with lockers. I had the impression that it was more of a change room that doubled as one for smoking. Listening to his crude chortles, I didn't get much of a feeling that Hondaya, who was head of a local public safety division, was much of an intellectual. That's such a nice way of saying it. But I knew that, in exchange, he had both experience and absolute confidence in his instincts.
This seems like such an insult.
Yes, yes it is. But it's very backhanded. It sounds like a compliment at first. I apologize for interrupting you during such a busy time. I'm Akasaka from the Metropolitan Police Department. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Hondaya from the Public Safety Division.
The way you're asking yourself. Who am I again? Hondaya.
Nice to meet you. I was threatened by Sankai from the prefectural gangbusters to be generous with my cooperation.
Gangbusters? You mean the Prefectural Crime Prevention Division?
You see, we're treating the Onikafuchi Guardians as an extension of the local Yakuza. You'd have to be a newbie if you think they're just a residential protest group.
Why do I imagine he laughs like Warrior? Like, whoa!
Probably does. Like with your whole belly and body.
He is like jiggling while he is choppling. He might not even be a large person, but it's like the whole body is like, whoa! They said at the prefectural office too that the Onikafuchi Guardians was linked to the local mob. If I recall correctly, the adopted son of somebody influential was a lieutenant in that gang.
It's the other way around. The complete opposite. The Yakuza put up the protest groups as a front to justify their actions. Just think of it like that. Completely the other way around.
I didn't expect there to be a laugh, so I was wondering where you were taking this, but she just called that. Nice. Hondaya was just about rolling with laughter. This was slightly different than the info given to me at the prefectural office, but somebody embedded locally would be more knowledgeable. While we were talking, occasionally some people who seemed to be detectives would come in and change. Imagine you're... So, you're sitting really close to each other, right? Because it's a tiny table in this small room. So you're already sitting like this, right? And then somebody just comes in and unzips. One of those individuals, noticing Hondaya's guffaws, came up to us. Ooishi. I knew it. I need a sip. He has his own music now.
This is locker room music.
No, this is smooth lounge jazz. This is what plays at the bar when you order your whiskey neat. You're sitting on an old leather chair. One of those round ones, like these really poofy ones. You take your drink. There's only a few lights on in the room. You look at the glass, then you realize whiskey actually tastes like shit. I think. More for all of you. I was wondering what you guys were talking about.
That was bad.
It's the... Yes.
You did that better before.
Deal with it. This is younger, Oishi.
Kura-chan, perfect timing. Why don't you join us? This here is Inspector Akasaka, who came all the way from the Tokyo Police Department.
Not Akasaka, Akasaka. like
I felt it was fitting.
Soothing. Akasaka.
Fitting.
An inspector. I'm still a rookie. My name is Akasaka. Pleased to meet you. It must be nice to be so fresh-faced. Did they hire you this year? I couldn't help but think I was being ridiculed, so I only responded with a forced smile. I could tell that this new person was like Hondaya, the type who had confidence in their instincts and experience. I really didn't like those types of people.
Let me introduce you, Akasaka-san. This is Oishi-kun from our investigative department. Regarding the S-file you were asking about, he's familiar with it.
S-file? S-file also sounds like a device you never want to learn about at the doctor's office?
Why?
Have you not heard what I said?
That an S-file is something you don't want to learn about at the doctor's office?
S-file.
Oh.
Tifa, I'm not gonna delay the stream for another 5 minutes explaining how ass also sounds like ass to you.
Even then. That was just a bad joke. Also, we went from jazz to ominous.
Yeah, because now it's S for Sonozaki. If something is an S file, it means it has something to do with the Sonozaki family. It's something of a code name.
I feel like they should have gone for something else, like Z-file.
From Zaki. Yeah.
You know, when you want to be cool, you replace the S with a Z. But it's like, if someone from the Sonozaki family would ever come over across a file, which is about the S group.
Yeah.
It seems like 1 and 1 is very fast. 2 there. That didn't make sense.
What?
You know what I'm trying to say.
No, could you reiterate,
that
please?
They can connect the dots very fast. I had 2 lines mixed in my head.
I could hear the fumes you were running on coming out of your ears, like...
all of my voices were speaking at once. It was hard to pluck the line out.
I still think Ooishi is connected to him somehow. I would not be shocked. It wouldn't be the first time the guy who investigates something is connected to the thing. Like, that's a trope that exists. Sonozaki. Come to think of it, I remembered when I was poring over the documents at headquarters. There were quite a few people with the last name Sonozaki popping up. If I remember right, there's a Sonozaki who is one of the executives of the Onigafuchi Guardians. I'm pretty sure they are the treasurer. The 2 of them were surprised when I rattled off what post that Sonozaki held. After a moment, both of them erupted into laughter. Akasaka-san, was it? You're quite the studious one. Could it be you've memorized all of the central figures in the Alliance? I wouldn't say memorized exactly, but I've at least read the list of Onigafuchi Guardians executives. Then who are the president and vice president? The president is the mayor of Hinamizawa, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. The vice president is the priest of a local shrine, Furude. The treasurer is Oryo Sonozaki, the auditor is Makimo. The liaison is Yoshiroshi. Wait, no. The liaison is Yoshiroshi Kimiyoshi. The PR head is Sadao Sonozaki. Akasaka-san, you're pretty good. The pay sucks, but you want to work here? You're just the type we're looking for. By the way, Sadao Sonozaki is head of the youth department. So close. Head of the public relations is actually Tadataka Sonozaki. Tadataka. Haven't heard that one yet. Feeling like I wasn't being complimented at all, I started settling into an uncomfortable mood. However, I was becoming more and more aware that I was the weakest link in this investigation, so I just had to bear with it. I didn't mean for that feeling to show up on my face, but the crafty detectives didn't let that slip by. I didn't mean to make fun of you. To make up for it, why don't I show you around the village? For somebody with no feel for the area like me, it would be a great help. I couldn't have asked for more. And in the end, the Onigafuchi Guardians is nothing more than an alliance Hinamizawa is using to deal with the outside world. I think getting to know the village would speed up your work. How about it? The residential movement, in other words, held influence over the whole region. So the leader of a movement was the leader of that influence. Just like that, the thought process in the region would become the overall personality of a movement. Just like Ooishi had said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the dam protests, getting to know the village, was the quickest way. If you would. Nodding back without skipping a beat, Ooishi laughed in satisfaction and stood up. Where was he sitting? There were only 2 chairs. if I took the information I learned at the prefectural office and from Hondaia to heart, if my position was exposed, my personal safety was at risk. The opponent was an extremist group that had no qualms about using threats or violence against somebody. If my personal info was leaked, it would be hard to imagine that I'd be in danger, whether on the job or... I missed out 2 letters and they're important. If my personal info was leaked, it wouldn't be hard to imagine that I'd be in danger, whether on the job or not. Thinking that, I felt a little nervous. Also, one sec, I just realized something. This whole thing starts with Akasaka being at the airport in 1986, right?
Yes, he's having a flashback to the moment where he met Ooishi.
Yeah, but the story of Higurashi thus far was in 1983.
Yes. So Ooishi has been found.
So either Ooishi is very much alive by the end of Higurashi as per 1983, or Akasaki is going to visit his grave.
Could also be the case. We do not know yet.
These guys are quick to remember faces. If you're seen with me, they'll probably do a lot to hinder your work. This might be a little cliche, but put these on.
Actually, I don't think it's his grave. Didn't he say something about it being easier to talk in person?
Yeah, but that could also just be a euphemism for going to visit his grave and then having a talk with him there.
It doesn't seem like you would go away from your family
Yes.
on a trip to do that.
Yes,
I'm
you
gonna
would.
assume Oishi's alive.
Oh, she handed me an incredibly suspicious disguise comprised of a baseball cap, sunglasses and a mask. I didn't want to get all hot and stuffy, but Oishi's warning was probably right on the money. Considering that, I put them on with appreciation. Sus. Yes. I looked so suspicious that Oishi had to smile wryly. How much did I tell you again? Let's see. The part where you were talking about how these 3 ancient families control the village. Onigafuchi Guardians was the same as the village of Hinamizawa itself, meaning there was a direct correlation between being an executive in the alliance and being a leader in the village, as Hondaia had told me a short time ago. If a village was ruled by 3 ancient families, then it would mean the Onigafuchi Guardians was ruled by those same 3 families. And what did the documents at the prefectural office say? About the leader of the Guardians or whatnot? The documents I was using were classified. If I responded to Ishi's question, it'd be a breach of security. However, most likely, this man, I judged, was more well-versed in the situation than any of the documents at the prefectural police department, so I decided to answer him. That the president of the alliance is the current mayor of the village, Keiichi Maebara. Ooishi, upon hearing that, let out a small chuckle. For him to ask like that and to laugh at the answer as it was recorded in the documents meant that wasn't the case in reality. So then, that means there's somebody else other than Kimiyoshi behind the scenes. Contrary to what the prefectural office thinks, or rather what is commonly known. Old man Kimiyoshi is nothing more than a figurehead. In the first place, the post of mayor in that village is nothing more than ceremonial. In other words, there's someone else in charge of both the alliance and the village. Would that be the 3 families we just talked about? Well, I'll explain that part right now.
Why do you do it like that?
Because it's...
Nah, the way you did it before was much better.
How did I do it before?
Not like... Like now it feels like you're...
This is where we have a
doing it in a
conversation
perfect way.
with Tifa about feedback. Instead of telling me what not to do, tell me what you'd rather me do instead. I'm listening.
The way
No.
you did it in the previous chapters, a softer...
Yeah, but this is a young Goichi, he is more...
Yeah, but I feel like it kind of goes out of character. Like you have your calm speaking and then it ends with... like he's coughing his lungs out in a way. I was just saying, do what you want.
So, listen, I've been spending the last 8-9 months
No, you didn't do it like that.
Portraying multiple characters, chief amongst them Kurao Oishi. Tifa, when I read Oishi's lines, I don't read Oishi's lines, I'm living them.
Okay, sorry. Then keep living them.
Not checking the VOD this time. Thank you. Okay, that was a bit different. That was very good.
That's how you're doing it.
I love this, by the way. It's so dumb, but it shuts her down.
I'm just saying that's my feeling. Do what you want.
No, it's okay. I appreciate your feedback, and I would like you to know that I've listened to it, and I will choose to ignore it.
That is fine.
All of a sudden, with a thunk, the car suddenly lurched. The paved road had given way to a gravel one. At the same time, the scenery outside the window changed. The Hinamizawa dam project must be withdrawn. Overthrow the shameless puppet of a governor. The dam will submerge the natural beauty of Hinamizawa. Protect the village from the unethical dam. Fear the wrath of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Demolish the dam. Those involved must go away. The construction office must respond. The construction office manager must negotiate with us. Signs and banners crowded the roadside. Even reading the brush-scrawled words was daunting. It was as though the road was just changed. It was as though where the road just changed was a border with a different country. At that moment, I was startled by the car suddenly braking. Looking ahead, a barricade had been erected. Also, can we please normalize using a different word when it comes to barricades? A barricade had been set up. A barricade had been built. Not erected. I know that's just between my ears.
I think that's the more common way to say it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, but mentally I'm 12. So when I... Exactly. So when I read erected, I'm like... I go in my head. About 5 or 6 protesters wearing masks and helmets to hide their face were blocking the road, yelling at us angrily to stop. What is this? A checkpoint? These guys never learn. He snorted as he rolled down the window and leaned out. Hey, you guys, you can't be blocking a road like this here. As she glared at them with a malicious laugh, they visibly faltered. Clear the way. We can't get by like this. Better?
Yes, it was actually.
Thank you. I'm trying to take your stage directions to heart. Who would have thought it was Oishi's car? The panicked thoughts. Who would have thought it was Oishi's car? That panicked thoughts seemed to make them lose their presence of mind.
Man, if we had known it was your car, Detective Oishi, we wouldn't have been so rude.
Oh man.
Shucks. Detective, what happened to your usual car? Is it in for maintenance?
Something like that. I just can't get used to this car they loaned me. Judging from their brief conversation, I could guess that they were familiar with the license plate of a car Oishi normally used. In other words, if they knew the car belonged to the police, they would have hidden the barricade. What they were doing was obviously obstruction of traffic. A blatant crime. They're just concerned citizens. You know?
Yeah, they just want to know who comes into their village.
Yeah, just like our neighbor back then, giving you the whole thing like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's your business? I live here, sir. Also, you don't get to ask me these things.
Who is that suspicious guy? You, could you show us your face?
The man glared at me menacingly, wearing a mask and sunglasses. Wearing a mask and sunglasses made me look particularly dubious. Would not showing my face get me into some unnecessary trouble? I turned to Ishii to see what I should do. Give him a break. He's still a shy little rookie.
We just wanted to make sure he wasn't anybody suspicious. Hinamizawa has been in a bit of a stir as of late.
So, first you were going with a goofy voice, then you held your nose, and now you did neither.
Yeah, I mixed them up, and now I forgot how I did it.
The man is current. I know this. You know this if you've heard me speak throughout the year. It's allergies.
Exactly.
Sometimes your nose is just randomly clogged. You know, it's like...
I did like that.
Yeah. Off screen. Suddenly a very pitched voice. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? That mask you're wearing is way more suspicious.
Also, there's several men.
The man and Ooishi continue to talk like that, feigning smiles at one another. Nice save. However, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't get over the feeling I was sitting on a powder keg. Also, this is the dumbest shit if you think about it. We are being told, or Akasaka is being told. So they know everybody. If you go in there and they know you're police and you're working with us, then you're doomed. You gonna die. Your baby gonna die. Your wife gonna die. So put on this mask and then they won't be able to tell it's you. So when he goes into the town and takes it off at some point, they immediately know he is not from there. Or is he always gonna walk around with a base cap, the glasses and the mask?
That's probably the plan, yes. He's got a car with air conditioning. Well, not right now, probably. This car sucks.
We don't know if this car does. His old car, probably, anyway. Good point, though. But it's a really cold air conditioning, so it's a good thing we've got a hat and a mask, because otherwise we'd be cold right now. Is the number of trucks illegally dumping still not decreased? It's a real hassle dealing with it all the time.
If the police could understand and cooperate, it would really help. It's the other one again.
I think they're specifically trying to sneak him past the city guard, who might recognize him. Yeah, but if
in the end, it will spread.
If he ever takes off his cloaking device off, they'll still recognize him as an outsider because he's not a neighbor of theirs, right? I'm guessing the plan is to always have him masked, because that way they'll still know he's police, because he's with Ooishi, but at least they won't be able to follow him outside of this. Which still doesn't make sense, because if you're going to these lengths, I would also assume that they will follow you until you take off your mask and the glasses and the hat, and then they still know who you are and they can still come after you. At least if I was a Yakuza clan boss, I would instruct my people, go after them after they're done working. During that conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single car to get through. Ooishi lightly honked the horn once and began to roll the car forward. I could see the man's antagonistic glares at the back of the car in the rearview mirror. Objects in this mirror might be more angry than they seem. What was that just now? Blocking a public road like that? Of course it's a crime. Still, if you get worked up over that, it'll never end. Those guys, see, claim there's an infestation of trucks illegally dumping in the village. The story goes that in order to stop that, they're halting suspicious vehicles for inspection.
Are they even allowed to do that themselves?
No, it's still illegal. But how do I say this? How is this gonna go with a judge if this is being brought to court and then the case is, well, there is actually tons of illegal dumping happening and because the police didn't fix it, the citizens did?
I guess.
Like, they're just gonna get a slap on the wrist, if anything. A slip on the wrist. It's a pervert's punishment.
Here, I have these panties from my wife.
Why did you have to go the extra mile? Still warm. See, now I go even further.
Failure of the system again.
Hey, if no one catches you doing it, it's hard to prove. Exactly.
They all just want that slip of the wrist.
Illegal dumping? Like corrupt contractors just tossing industrial waste away? My line of argument is that if the police aren't going to do anything about it, they'll take matters into their own hands. Well, the industrial waste is just something they're doing by themselves anyways. By themselves. They have a pretty good strategy. You see, in order to hinder construction, they've spread industrial waste over by the dam site. Then, blaming it on corrupt contractors, they start instituting these inspections. There, they stop every construction vehicle coming through and interfere with them as much as possible.
Everything is legal if you don't get caught. Yeah, exactly.
Wo kein Kläger, da kein Richter. German wisdom. Where there is no...
Complainer.
Where there is no one to file a complaint, there is no judge. Yes. Illegal gumping. Forest gumping. Also, one of the reasons why my sometimes seems so weird is because it's an extra line. You have to press the button again to get to the them as much as possible. So then, it's one of the methods Fuji Guardians is using. With that inspection just now, this car's license plate has probably been recorded. It shouldn't get stopped from here on out. Those guys know very well not to get me angry. See, the rumor is that they figure cars related to the construction in some way. Not only would there be checkpoints stopping at every turn, but they'd be throwing rocks and planting road spikes as well. It's best you be careful so you're not identified. If they find out you're from public safety, who knows what you'll suffer through.
Oh, in the city, when he's not with Ooishi, he can just walk around as a tourist or whatnot. At least not from anyone, but from the police.
Yeah, sure. And Ooishi just happened to be bringing you into town?
Yeah, that's why he's trying not to be recognizable. When he's with Ooishi.
I still think somebody completely new randomly showing up is... sus.
Nah, you have reporters, you probably have enough.
I need oxygen.
People coming for all this. What's the English trammeland?
What? Sorry, can you say that again in Dutch? The what now?
Trammeland.
The what? Trammeland.
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 What? That sounds like a Disney spin-off. You have Disneyland and you have Trammeland. Also, the way it flowed somehow seemed like a curse.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ah, you stupid Trammeland. What?
For everything that's going on here.
The Dutch have a singular word to describe the entire plot of Higurashi when they cry chapter 4, Himatsubushi.
No.
She's googling it and it doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I'm thinking here.
She put in the word and now it shows her random drugs that are similar.
Because I was searching in English here. Trammeland is if there are issues. I didn't know how to explain it. So it's
two people or parties are having a fight. There is no unity about how this is all going to work out. And the word is a synonym for problems, a lot of hubbub, or a tumult.
Yes, basically. It's when you don't just have a fight, but it gets all heated up.
When you have a whole Higurashi brewing.
Yeah, so you would basically have people come into the city for all the trammelands happening.
All the hubbub.
All the hubbub. So it wouldn't be too unnatural to have new people, I want to say.
Things really escalated there. Or you could just say it like that.
Yeah, I was trying to find the...
Dark Lord, hereby I award you the Trammeland Award of 2024. It went up a notch, yes.
Just trying to make sure I also gave the right meaning.
Are you feeling slightly shamed?
No, sure. I do not. Needs a bit more for that.
What about now?
Say your line. Find a place to save.
Now I feel safe.
Oh, very sweet.
It's adorable. Nobody saw it coming, but it's adorable. Well, she was acting like we were talking about something fun, but for me it was no laughing matter. It almost feels like we've wandered into a civil war in the Middle East. You know what shocks me about that line?
What?
Not shocking, that's the wrong way of saying it. But it's kind of funny in a macabre, not haha way. Like, I've grown up in Germany, in Europe. And at any given time, I want to say, there have been at some point news reports and headlines about, what was the phrasing here? Something in the Middle East, civil war, something like that, always. Then later on I learned English and I consumed more American media, and there also the same term. For some reason, I never considered that the whole world is saying this. I don't know.
Isn't it like an official term?
Yeah, but like...
It's like how the whole world says certain words or names things certain ways.
Yeah, but to be... Or... For
like
some
how every
reason...
war has a name.
For some reason, I cannot explain why, I would have imagined or thought, I guess, that like maybe their reporting on world news would be different. Like, I don't know a lot of stuff about Japanese history because it just never happened in German history lessons. I don't know.
Forget, it's probably English people translating this too. They might have said something else in Japanese.
Fair enough. Either way, don't know where that came from, but it occurred to me. So. That's a good way of putting it. It's pretty much just what you said. When she turned to me with a grin and menacing laugh. You see, this here is a war zone. The car slowed down a bit as it went down a narrow road through some Tramaland. The car slowed down a bit as it went down a narrow road through some farmland. You see that house in that forest over there? That antiquated one? Looking at where she was pointing, there certainly was an old, traditionally designed house. That belongs to the mayor, old man Kimiyoshi. You could say it belongs to the main Kimiyoshi house as well. There's a lot of branches, but it might be one of the three families. The three families? The ancient families that control Hinamizawa. That's right. And one of the others is the Furude family. Their house doesn't even have a single branch. All that's left is the head priest's family. Right over there, there's the shrine. He's the priest there. By the way, the guardian's office is on the grounds of that shrine. The office of the Onigafuchi guardians. If these guys were the enemy, that would make the shrine their stronghold. Can we go look over there? The shrine is the Furude family's private property, you see. Being police, we can't set foot there without a warrant. See, they've got a member of the Diet with ties to the village backing them up. Basically, being the police has its strengths and weaknesses. Well, even when we talked about the three families, that's something from a long time ago. Way back when those three families used to hold councils to decide things about the village. Meaning, it's different now. You've got a pretty good nose. That's what I expect from an academic. The car braked to a halt with a squeal. I don't know why, but braked seems like a weird word.
Stop to a halt?
No,
Might have made more sense.
I would have completely avoided by writing it came to a halt, but I mean...
If you say it, what?
What?
You said I would have avoided it by saying it came to a halt.
Yes, the car came to a halt. See, the desk agrees as it creaks underneath me. Everything is creaking. I hate the winter. Ahead of where we were stopped were several signs. Private property beyond, no trespassing. Beware of poisonous snakes. Danger, turn back. Intruders will be charged an entry fee of 1 million yen. Signs were set up there with things like that written on them.
Well, say the lines as they're written. No, don't. Keep it. Leave it.
Signs. No. Tifa, if I give you this and I expect you to then do the line again, I cannot not do it when you do it. That's unfair. And I'm nothing if not fair. Sometimes. Signs were erected there with things like that written on them. The road was separated from the forest by a chain link fence wrapped in barbed wire.
Okay.
Since this is private property, this is as far as we go. With several surveillance cameras set up further in. Saying that we just got lost won't work with these guys. They're beyond here, right? The people currently controlling Hinamizawa and the Onigafuchi Guardians were neither the Kimiyoshi family nor the Furude family, but the last of the three. Yeah, beyond here is one of the three families, the Sonozaki family. Everyone's controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows. Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people with last names from the thief.
From the thief families.
The thief families!
They're thieves. They took our dam.
They took Hinamizawa. Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people with last names from the thief. Fuck you, Tifa. This is on you.
They took our dams.
Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people... No, stop it! Let me read the line.
Yeah, I'm letting you read.
Among? It is mean. I'm being bullied.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here waiting.
Sure, make me feel worse. Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people with last names from the three families was quite high.
You did it.
Of course, Sonozaki was no exception. However, at the top was the Kimiyoshi family. If the Kimiyoshi family seemed to be in charge, the rulers behind the scenes were the Sonozaki family. This double-layered structure implicitly told me that this village had both a light and a dark side. The current head of the Sonozaki family is an old lady named Oryu. She has enough clout that you could call her Empress Sonozaki. Be careful, she's no small fry. She's enough of a VIP that even the mayor of the city has to bow before her. Well, in Hinamizawa and the surrounding area, their relatives amount to a block of several thousand votes. No politician could show disrespect for that. In other words, that would make her the actual leader of the Onigafuchi Guardians, right? You've got it. With those words, Oishi pulled out a well-worn cigarette box. The suspected kidnapping of a minister's grandchild and subsequent threats. Were these parts of the hidden plot by the Onigafuchi Guardians in order to have the Hinamizawa Dam project cancelled? This seems like a good moment to stop for the night.
Oh yeah, it's a new chapter.
I was gonna say it feels weird to have a virgin canvas of save files to pick from. Click.
Yeah, it felt a bit odd to not see the other save files.
Yes. Imagine if all of Higurashi was released as one continuous game and you had to make do with just that amount of save files.
I mean, most people just overwrite.
Then you're doing it wrong.
Or I say
judging
most people,
Yes.
but on the other hand, they do have, 8 pages of save file options, so... But that,
Wasn't it 10? I just
10.
clicked the game away, I can't see it anymore.
I'm just saying a number. But especially in a game, even though now it makes sense with choices, in a game without any choices, or in a visual novel without any choices, I also don't feel like that's really necessary.
I think they would still separate the save files internally by chapter. That would make sense.
It does make sense.
Imagine being able to swallow your own spit without choking. Yes.
It's a skill.
No, it's a curse. It's not something I trained for, nor something I wanted. I feel like I've complained before. Not complained. That's the wrong way of saying it. I've said before that I was expecting one of the chapters to be different. You know, that there is some sort of like difference between how the chapters work. Because now the first 3 were like Keiichi goes to school and then bad things happen in his life. And now that we finally got that, it feels so alien.
Well, it is a bonus chapter.
No, it's not.
They said it themselves. They were not. This was not supposed to be in here.
You're a bonus.
They hadn't in the thingy. They said that they hadn't planned to release this or whatever. So this is basically a bonus chapter.
I don't think that's how it was supposed to be taken.
Well, that's how I'm taking it. It's like a prequel.
Chapter 4 is a bit of an outlier. Yeah, I have a feeling. I wonder how what we're going to learn in chapter 4 is gonna influence what we know about chapters 1 through 3. Especially because that means... Oh.
Considering this chapter also has its own endings.
My thoughts and my mouth started at the same time, but then my mouth stopped because my mouth then went that way, but my brain took a left turn. We were discussing before how the chapters work, with there being 4 question arcs and then there being 4 answer arcs. But now we know there's really only 3 question arcs. Then there is the Himatsubushi chapter, and then there's 4 answer arcs.
No, they said chapter 4 was 2 parts. The answer arc starts in chapter 4. Which means we now have half a chapter of whatever it is we're doing now.
Yeah.
Half a chapter of an answer arc, and then I'm guessing 5, 6... What is it? Or the other chapters are concerning what we did before.
It's not... Yeah. I see what she means. I wonder if that actually turned out to be that way, because...
If it is.
During that all-cast review teaser thing at the end, it was clearly laid out differently from what we are now experiencing. Like, they immediately went for what is now chapter 5 versus this being chapter 4.
Well, I don't know yet. But I think... Actually, wait, no, what I said doesn't make sense because 5 to 8 are... I'm gonna let myself be surprised.
Maybe what they said the first half of 5 is what became chapter 4. I don't know.
Oh, like that. That could also have been.
I'm just trying to make sense of that teaser twist thing at the end of that all-cast review, but ultimately I don't think it matters much.
No, it might be better to just ignore the info in there.
Because I also don't know, and I don't think we ever talked about this, were those all-cast review things added later when they released the game on like Steam and stuff? Or have they always been part of the game? Because if they were always part of the game, then I would imagine something happened during the development of the next chapter. Versus if they were tacked on, or if they were added later. Tacked on seems so negative. The connotation is slightly different.
I wouldn't say later, because then the chapter order would have made sense. It seems like it was released with the chapter, then they made some changes, and that's why you tripped over the name being different.
Higurashi can be so confusing that even something like what chapters there are and what they're called can throw me off.
Can just ignore that bit.
Pulling up my leg too. So it's slightly different.
So it's interesting to learn a bit more about what happened before, or how things came to be.
Yeah.
Because now you also get to learn more about the relationship between the Sonozakis and Ooishi, which has been pointed out before.
I hope... Wait. What year did we now go to Hinamizawa? 78 or 83? It was 78, right?
I don't remember. I think 78. Does it matter?
Yes, it... I hate that. Wait.
But what difference would the year make in this case?
I need to verbalize my thoughts. Tifa, help me think here. In chapter 1 through 3, in chapter 1, we learn that there was a murder connected to the construction of a dam that was never fully solved, or never... The last perpetrator was never found. When they dismembered the person.
Yes.
The guy they killed. When did that happen?
I don't remember, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, presumably. But I was
we would
trying
have
to
heard
think
about murder already.
in chapter 1, and I don't know if it was brought up in 2 and 3, but in chapter 1 definitely. Did they say when that happened? Was that the very first of the 5 years of freak incident deaths? No. Because if that's the case, then we still won't get to witness that unless poor Akasaka-san is gonna spend years investigating in Hinamizawa.
No, that wasn't a trigger because that wasn't Oyashiro-sama's curse. That was done by people that have been arrested and one was missing.
Yeah, true. And after that,
then Oyashiro-sama's curse started, where no one has been arrested or found guilty because it was Oyashiro-sama and not 5 random people.
Oh, thank you, Darklo. These are from the originals, but they changed the one for Miyakashi to reflect the new Higurashi seasons in the newer releases. Okay, fair enough. I guess that explains that. Or
no.
I'll just have to remain confused.
As you will for another 6 years.
Probably. As we have nobody to rate, I want to end the stream the way we started it. And first of all, make you all jealous that Tifa made these for our Christmas tree, and I think they look adorable. But also, this one is clearly orange, and this one is clearly red. If you remember when we were doing a certain puzzle in Resident Evil, that mattered. It really did.
It's the lighting. Sometimes in the light it looks exactly the same.
Okay, I'm not using this as nipple pasties. I'm just trying to show you with a darker background.
No, not a darker background. Yeah, there. Look there at screen. Look at my screen.
This screen, Tifa, is dimmed.
Yeah, but that's how I see it. That's exactly... That's what I'm saying, in a dark room. So a dimmed screen is basically the effect of a dark room.
Look at these 2 pictures. Spot the difference. They are the same.
I'm gonna press the button.
Thank you, party. Otsukare-sama kai in the Jap. That's way too long and too Japanese for me to say. Tifa, press the button before I make more fun of you. She actually just did it. Thank you everybody for Higurashi chapter 4 of us. We'll be back on Tuesday with Shenmue. Bye!
Bye!
Thank you.